Good morning. My name is Maria, and I am Little Miss Diagnosed. And I'm going to switch it up a little today. I need to respond to what is going on in the news. Man, oh man, oh man. Um, uh, you don't ask to be part of history, but history is what change is. It is the things that keep occurring in life. And as North Americans, we have been happily tripping along under good things that were created over the last, let's say, 80-ish years. And now we see the real story. We see what people were doing behind the scenes. The current crises in North America politics did not start the day of. They didn't start in 2021 in January. They didn't start any particular day at all. They've always been happening, and there is a reason they've been going on. And I would like to explore today a little bit about why we are in a position where Ms Musk thinks that she is taking candy from babies, when really she is taking food from infants. And that this is, as YouTube has accurately described, thank you, a shout out to Park Rose Permaculture, they have accurately described this as a genocide. And I have been following the steps to genocide, unfortunately, over the last many years as an academic and a nerd. And coffee is absolutely required for this. Oh, look at it's an import. My coffee is an import. Every single drop of coffee I drink is imported. And when I can, absolutely, I try to think about the people who had to create my coffee. And I make sure that I know as much as possible. Hi there, oil and gas men. Yes, this is live. I'm not getting a count today of who's around and who's watching. My restream's being a little weird, but that's totally okay. Yes, I am actually trying to answer the question. And what I do is I go live, see if anybody's around to talk to, but then I restream it. Ha ha ha. Yeah, shout out, not sponsored. I witch. Konnichiwa! Ohio! Um, uh, Nihongo wa skoshi desu, skoshi desu. But I only speak a little tiny bit of Japanese, but I did spend as part of a school year, so I can recognize at least it in Romaji, and say good morning still 30 years later. I was an international student myself. And I am coming live. I always say I'm going to speak clearly to those who are, if there are any youngers in my stream, feel free to let me know. You don't have to know. I don't need to know your age. I don't need to know if you're uh, how young a kid you are. I don't need to know your name. I don't need to know anything about you. But I'll speak a little more calmly for those who are younger if I need to. But it is also time that I think that even those who are young, who join me sometimes on my stream, that this is a moment where speaking plainly isn't going to make young people less nervous. It isn't going to make preteens less scared of what's going on if adults won't talk to them and adults won't say anything clear. So I have decided that I am going to Sherlock a little bit of what's going on in the news. I am somebody who likes to put some context together and figure out what's going on. And I think there's this huge mess that is occurring that didn't happen just in the last few minutes. It didn't happen this week in news. It didn't happen in January with the government. It didn't happen over the last 4 years with the previous American government. And it didn't happen even on January of 21. Those are signs of larger things that are occurring. We in the news see only the top peaks of the mountains of events, right? And I want to go back and look at really quickly the reasons that we got here. And the thing that I saw today with add it to the channel, that coffee is absolutely required, I was saying. Coffee is needed because it is imported. And every single one of those people who made my coffee is really important to me. And I want them to eat today so that I, as a rich white lady, can have coffee, right? This stream, Anakino, and Soul, konnichiwa. What's this channel about? I'm Little MissDiagnosed Oil and Gas Man, and I look into the factors that affect those with disabilities, those who are affected by misdiagnosis, by culture, but I'm also a computer science professor and a theorist of critical theory, meaning like, how the heck did we get here with all of these things? Why did these choices get made sort of in the social thread? How do memes become the famous one? How do things happen? And right now I'm noticing a moment that might be missed by something not sponsored by Ground News, but hey, really freaking helpful. I got my subscription from other YouTubers. You go get one from Legal Eagle or your favorite other small provider. The comments didn't post. It might just be a delay. I'm using a restreaming. It has a little bit of a delay on it because I don't have a mod this morning. So it's just me. So I can see your posts on here. Hi, it will go through. Okay. Posts are just being slowed a little bit. Posts are slowed this morning. For lack of mod. They didn't get here this morning, or they're not online this morning. They're on their way. So all good. I like doing the old fashioned figuring out what's going on. And as somebody who's a complete dork, I am an absolute nerd. I am an absolute neurodiverse weirdo who likes to look at all kinds of crap all over the place. And I was told my age that I shouldn't be a multipotentialite. I'm not somebody who should do more than one thing, because math and music don't go together, or English and science don't go together. And to me, that's absolute BS. Lily, all that and good looking too. I play the game. I put myself on YouTube with the pretty damn lips that my mother gave me, and the rest, I'm an average human. And that's what's wonderful, is that I self-identify as a fat, ugly old lady. And you know why I do that? Because none of those things are insults. You know why? Because none of those things are bad, right? I am an average looking human who happened to get great lips. No, I have no filler. Nothing wrong if you did. But I got them just from my mother, and we should rock the stuff we've got, right? So I am talking about the theory today, and I'd love your chat. Go to sleep if you got to go to sleep. I love that my stream can hit all over around the world, all over on different time zones. I love the fact that we can do 24-hour coverage, basically, right? If you are someone who someone insults because you sleep at the wrong time of day, or they don't think you're productive because you don't go to work at the same, normal 9 to 5 time, you tell them that they can come to my stream, they can come to my comments, and I will tell them to F off, because we are living in different time zones, and there's nothing wrong with your brain if it is living in different time zones. So I look at world topics, I look at science, I look at politics, and I look at language from the perspective of people who are different, from neurodiverse, from able diverse, from gender diverse, from all of the intersectional reasons that people are different. And today, there is something going on. We're Sherlocking the little bit of news that I got through. I believe it was MSNBC. Like, do they have an actual little bit of news coverage? Get your news from Ground News. I'm not sponsored at all. Oh, pray for Texas. I don't pray, but I'll pray for Texas. I've got family in Texas who, shouldn't be there because they are neurodiverse and queer diverse and etc. And I worry about them right now. So I put together, and I like to say this is completely speculative. I am just an old lady on the news who has a place that can go live and say, hey, as a professor, as a counselor, as a parent, as all these things, I'm sort of seeing crap from all over the place. And my life has always been about seeing crap from all over the place and trying to connect them. And the thing that's really interesting is that I don't remember, I'm not American, so I'm just watching the news. MSNBC and their Trump session, Lawrence. And that is the doorbell. And I'm going to lose my live viewers. You want to hang on for a second? I don't know. I might lose you guys, but I'm going to go get the doorbell, let people in. Seriously. Good timing, huh? Let's see if we can yell at the thing. I think it's even locked. Dang it. Hello. Come on in. How fun. Yeah, real life. I am a mom. I work from home. I have somebody coming to help me. You know why? Because I have a physical disability. I can no longer, I was going to say, in deference to, I wish that I could be knitting still or doing thread arts, because that's one of the things I want to talk about today is like knitting cult lady has some great ideas about why this cult is happening, why the stuff, how it got there, that America and parenting has gotten culted. But I have a mobility disability. My hands have started to curl. I mean, I can get them flat, but their natural position is not relaxed. It's actually curled up, and I save all of it for typing. I save all of it for doing stuff. But my brain's still stuck in here. And I actually believe that my brain is the way it is, where it connects crap together, lots of different pieces, because of my genetics, the genetics that gave me some disabilities. Real quick, is your channel from a conservative or a liberal sense? Oh my gosh, dear, I am so freaking left, if you want to call that. I think the conservatives and liberals suck. I think that the Republicans and the Democrats suck. I try to go everything on its own merits. So I actually see eye to eye on some of the things that are really, really conservative. I confuse people because I was a crunchy mom. I was the person who got along and understood what it meant to be like that super crunchy duper, like, mom who stayed home and traditional. And I loved those things. And I nursed my baby. I nursed them all. I nursed them, at the time you could have made, except that it was a mess, you could have made ballerina farms about my life. You know what I mean? But it wasn't fake. It was real. I was actually taking care of my kids. And what really frustrates me, I love that question, oil and gas man, is that I believe about every single thing should be recorded, dealt with, understood on its merits. So I really confused people because I am absolute 100% for vaccination. But I also think that vaccine damage happens. You know why? Because it has an effect. Anything that has an effect, whether it's water, Tylenol, or hand cream, will have an effect. So I end up really, really, really left on that side. Absolutely. And overall, I think that if you want to call it liberal bleeding snowflake, if you want to call it that, because I think that babies shouldn't die, because I think trans folks who are less than 1% of the population, but are so damn dangerous, should just get up every day and put their gitch on, and no one should give a shit what's in their gitch. It's just gitch. It's just underwear. Wash it, put it on. I don't care what you wear. I don't care what surgeries you get. Ms Musk is getting some gender affirming surgeries. He's not smart. We're going to use, you know what? She doesn't get to pick what her gender identity is, right? We're just going to decide for her based on what she looks like. And to me, I mean, it's insulting to women, but she just sounds like a girl right now. She just sounds like an absolute girl. So you will see me going over the line because I am a mad Canadian. That's what I'm at. So yeah, you're going to get if you're not prepared for a really goddamn liberal stream in a way. But at the same time, I'm going to 100% agree with some of the people who are not actually being talked about, like crunchy granola moms who do want to stay home. And feminism speaks to them too, which is they have the right and the safety of staying home too. And those who want to parent in a certain way, live a certain way. And I grew up on the prairies. I grew up north of North Dakota. So we used to call that there North Dakota, right? We live into North. So I grew up in Winnipeg, which is it was a racist, conservative, jerky time and place. It still kind of is, though. It's pulling some stuff out now. But when I was growing up, it was just a horrible place to live. I feel like I lived in the deep South. I am not that old. Like, I identify as old, but I'm like, you can probably tell I'm not actually 80 or something like that, right? My mama is something like 80, but I'm old. I'm going gray. Absolutely. And I grew up in a time and a place where I lived in the murder capital of Canada. I lived where red dresses were occurring daily. I grew up where I, as a not that old North American, was pushed off of bus lines because I was too looking. And I look here. Oh, you're Canadian, Justin Trudeau? Yeah, Justin Trudeau. You can come to Toronto if you talk like that. You like that guy? Never met the guy. I'll debate all of his shit on its merits. Is he good? Is he bad? I think politicians are really a dangerous thing overall. They're wonderful. They're the system. They're democracy. It's better than other ones. But we don't actually vote anymore for people who can do stuff. I actually think that a bit of an anarchist, not completely, but a democracy anarchist. I think we should vote locally, and that should do the things. Like this whole your elector colleges and the whole no, it should actually be local, and they should have to fight amongst themselves at that point. If you want a green party and then you want a liberal and then you want a different kind of conservative and three kinds of, I think they should all be forced to work together. Literally local becomes, rather than counting it up in all of these stupid artificial ways that means. I think that is British colonization on top of it kind of thing. Yeah, so I'm a professor. I'm a mom. I'm a counselor. I come at it from all of those different aspects, and my opinion don't fit in a box. And it doesn't even fit in a diagnosis. It doesn't fit in a stream because I have multiple topics that I have topics about, right? And I'm not supposed to do that. I'm supposed to pick one thing and talk about it on YouTube all the time. And my point is that connections are what make us more intelligent. They are what make us safer. They are what make us more connected. Innovation literally occurs in connecting two things that didn't exist. So the fact that, oh, don't be so serious. Keep your chins up, girl. Who says I ain't? And who says I don't get to be anything I want to be? If I want to be fucking serious, I get to be fucking serious, don't I? I get to be, because what? A woman should be pretty. A woman should be whatever. You might have said that completely positively, and I hope you did. And if you didn't, well, then, I win. I always win on my channel. You know what? Because things aren't insulting when they're not bad. When you take back language and you go, I don't care that I'm not cool. I don't care that I'm not skinny. I don't care. It is time for the people who are stuck all around the edges to have an opinion, because we've taught to be nice. We've been taught to be sweet. We've been taught to be quiet. And I got a lot of stuff that I should shut up about, but I got a lot of stuff that I should say a lot of things about. And I am finally old enough and ugly enough and fat enough and all the insulting things that 22-year-old boys want to say about me, that I realize I could have wiped their butts from their little poopy bums when they were babies. I have an almost 21-year-old child myself. Like I said, I told you I was old. I'm old. And we didn't say anything because we were taught to be nice. We were taught to be calm. We were taught to not interject. Matthew was being cool. Well, that's good. See, because I can go with the sarcasm. I love me some sarcasm. It's my second language. And oh, dude, Matthew. Oh, okay. So that was really in quotes. I can't see on the thread whether you're being like sarcasm or whether you're being jerk. Oh no. Okay, I won't be so serious. Okay, like I should smile. I should keep my chins. You want to put, oh my God. Am I fat? Oh my God. No, I just always take it on. Thank you for letting me know. And you don't got to say more. You don't got to out yourself any way you want. You talk and say as much as you want on the internet. You don't owe anybody anything on the internet because it is the same as being in a giant parking lot of people, right? And I do tend to take it on when I'm on my lives. I take it on as if it was a troll, right? Because so they know the trolls who come trolling. If you want me to come to your page, I will shoot down trolls. I will literally do the thing that they are most afraid of, which is the thing that they say as an insult is what they're scared of. Oh, little scaredy cats. They're so worried about it, right? Dude, so we got a big question on the floor. Oh my God, 16 and trans, you are welcome here. You get your identity. I don't give a crap. Ms Musk is taking candy from a baby. I will gender identify them any way I want because apparently I get to figure out if she looks like a girl, right? And I am a counselor for trans folks, and I run a queer closet, which is literally a transitioning closet for teenagers in the area to come and grab free clothes and take a penny, leave a penny. Just grab it, take and go so you can wear it at home, so you don't have to talk to your parents, so you can try on a different flavor, so you can just have some underwear. It's just underwear, people. It's underwear. Just get over it. It's underwear. Wash your underwear. Wash your hands. Those are the only two things that Mama Diagnosed says, okay? She just wants you to wash the things. Draco came with a huge question. Oh my God. There's a giant question. Do I agree with the reciprocal tariffs the US is going to place on Canada products? I agree that we have to. Yes. Not that the tariffs are good. Let me explain. It is the same thing as a circle of bullies in the schoolyard. That is what Miss Trump and sorry to Miss Trump and Ms Musk, sorry to Ms Musk if there is one. I don't know or don't care. Do I think it's good? No, it's stupid. It's a game of bullying, but it is the way you react back to a bully. It is how you stop a circle of schoolyard bullying. And let's be clear, that is who these people are. They are absolutely learning how to be white, middle class, upper class, rich, American cis males. And that is where they get their privilege. And there is nothing wrong with being male. And there's nothing wrong with being cis. And there is nothing wrong with being rich. And there's nothing wrong with being anything. But when you put them all together, it's not about, those are all distractions that we dislike each other. We're supposed to fight here. We're supposed to fight amongst ourselves. I'm going to talk to some conservatives. I'm going to talk to some Republicans, and I'm going to agree on the merits of the concern with those people because I agree with lots of things they're doing and I disagree with a lot of them. This is about a bullying circle. It's not about the two. Oh my God, is it about the jocks or is it about the nerds? Do you agree with them? I don't agree with any of them. I think the guy in the school bully yard who's currently hitting somebody and everybody is standing around in a circle watching it and doesn't know what to do. That occurred in my youth. These jerks are the same age as me. Ms Musk is essentially the same age as me, approximately, like within a 10-year span. I could have been at the same junior high or high school with the guy. And he was, he was the person who didn't get told that he could be okay for being a nerd, that he could be okay for being dorky. No, you got to become mean. You have to become like them. You have to bully back. And reciprocal tariffs are literally the same thing as bullies in the schoolyard hitting the bigger bully. Is it a great idea? No, but no one listened when one person, the friend of the person being bullied, or the leader, the sort of loudest, tallest person, or the person who's in the friend group said something, right? They said, don't bully me. Don't bully my friend. Don't bully whoever, right? So bunch of nerds are doing that they are taking it back and saying, hey, you started bullying first. And that's the news point that has to be caught, is that the tariffs are only in response. They are in response. Go look up the percentage of tariffs that were given by the US first. They are trying to treat it as if, oh my God, I got hit. This guy hit me. That is literally what is called DARVO. DARVO is so common that I have it in my little stream, DARVO. It stands for the things that those in privilege do to become the victim once someone calls out their bullying. And the bullying is coming on this score from the US. It is coming from Ms. President and her lapdog, Ms. Musk. It is coming from them directly. And all the rest is an aside. All the rest is them going, oh, look, you lost your crap as somebody who was being bullied and you hit me back once. Meanwhile, that bully has been tripping them and hurting them and pushing them into lockers. Or they've been the mean guy who says, the mean girl who says, oh no, I didn't hurt them. I didn't touch them. But they're friends who want to be in with them. I literally have an interview coming up later with someone who was the hanger on to the cool girls who found themselves being trained to bully others in order to be cool. And what is that? That's a way so that the cool girl on top won't be seen as the bully. And this is a distraction. Is it stupid? Is it painful? Is it bad? On one level, absolutely. The tariffs are stupid. They are dumb. All of them. And the person who started the trade war is clearly the bully in the playground who threw the first punch or started the abuse years or months ago. Months or years ago. Have you ever been tormented by a bully? Have you ever been tormented by a bully for all 3 years of high school? You got the same junior high and they tortured you from the time you were 12, 13 years old in grade 7 in the North America system and they literally stuck around until you were, finally a senior and got away from them. That ever happened to you? Oh, did they ever really hit you in a playground? Or did they just insidiously tell you that you weren't good enough, that you weren't cool, that you weren't whatever, that you were whatever? We were stronger. We were going to take your stuff. We need you to do better. We need to. And have you ever been the friend, the best friend to the mean girl and realized that guy, that girl, that bully in high school is actually bullying you? Did you ever wake up and realize that while you were allies because you thought it was going okay, you thought they were being friendly to you, and yeah, they're not nice to everybody else, but it's kind of confusing. Maybe that other person deserved it. Maybe there's something I don't know about. You gave them the benefit of the doubt until they literally hit somebody with a stick. They whacked somebody over the head in the playground, in the yard, at the smoking pit. And then what happened? That person hit back. Or they told the friend that was bigger, that was stronger, pick on your own size, someone your own size. And so Canadian provinces, Canadian and American, because the tariffs don't get paid by us. They get paid by Canadian tariffs will be paid by Canadians. That is the other thing. It is a tax, people. It is a retail sales tax, and it is not paid by the other side. It is a sales tax that happens when it comes in. It is goods and services. Whatever your sales tax is in your state or your province, if you're in Utah, it's 0, right? If you're in Maryland, whatever. What is it in Texas, right? What's the state sales tax on stuff, retail tax? Tariffs are a big word that just should be called, they are a sales tax, but on big things, on large imports, on raw goods, on stuff and things between businesses. That's what they are. And those tariffs will be originally paid by the government that imposes them. That is how it works. That is how it works. That is where the tax happens. Yes, it ends up on the people too. The people who are going to be shouldering this when they put tariffs on the especially northern states, on electricity, on that kind of stuff, what are they doing? That is actually those Canadian provinces and the Canadian federal government saying, we're going to shoulder more money so that this is shown more quickly. We are shouldering the brunt of the stick hits. So I, as a delicate young lady who is 6 foot tall and 300 pounds in high school, I was the post in basketball and I took the hits. Why? Because I was protecting other people. And what happens now is that everybody has an argument. Everybody in the yard says, oh my gosh, she hit back. She's the one who keeps hitting every time the bully hits the little kid. Nobody provoked her. Why is she all of a sudden being mean? And that's a distraction. That is a distraction from someone who sees the bullying finally stepping up and protecting somebody smaller. And it is short term trying to break that circle of everybody in the smoking pit watching the kids get hit or tripped or dismantled internally, because sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can shatter your entire insides. They can get to the point. I have kids who are gender everything, and they themselves have had a tenant in our complex that we lived in, another apartment member who hated us, right? Someone else in another apartment literally sent an email to me as a parent that said, oh, the things that I could do by sicking the internet on your kids, trolls will make trans kids or gender diverse kids do horrible things to themselves. And the cops did not know what trying to get SI by troll, right? That's a thing. Everybody knows that. Young kids know that. You go on Discord, you hang out places, you know that SI by proxy, right? That's the medical term. But the idea that you're trying to get someone to hate themselves enough that they don't want to live anymore, that you want them to take themselves down, that is a kind of bullying with which I shall not stand. And on that score, guess what? I am a happy gun owner. I do not think there should be any violence. See what I mean? Is this liberal or is this conservative? Is my stream Democrat or is it Republican? It is none of those things. It is every single thing on its merits, and we're going to start thinking about stuff. We're going to start thinking about stuff, and we're going to call out people has. We're going to call out the bad decisions, and we're going to have complicated answers. Not so complicated that you get lost, but like 2 or 3 parts. This happened, then this happened, then this happened, right? We're going to go back and we're not going to let DARVO happen. We're not going to let the bully deny, oh my God, that's not how it happened. Oh my God, they were the one that started it. We are not going to let them be the reverse victim. Oh, see, they lost it. See, they're the one yelling. I never yelled. Therefore, I can't be a bully. Go look up the initials to the bite model. Go look up how undue influence has occurred. How did we get here? We got here because a bunch of people said that they were okay with being in control and everybody else was nice. And this comes out of patriarchy. You bet your ass it does. And if you think that is just some nice word that means, oh my God, the snowflakes hate people who are, no, it has a specific definition and we're going to look at it. Patriarchy is about the rich, white, cis men who had power in the Victorian era and back and took over the world. They moved on and they became other people who took over the world in the so-called free world. I wish it was free right now. I wish you were free. You are not. If you are American and you happen upon my stream, or if you are a Republican and you happen upon my stream because it looks kind of crunchy and nice, I'm with you that you are being bullied by patriarchy. And you may do great with it. You may have the money. Ballerina Farm gets the money from being blonde and cute. I get some privilege from appearing white and pretty. But I'm not underneath. You know what? The minute some guy doesn't like me in a bar, I am fat and ugly and old and a witch. And you know what? That's my superpower. My superpower is, I'm going to take on, like Powerpuff Girls. Now, let's say that's the stupidest one, but I love it. So, that's when I transform into my super villain, my superpower, my super protector. My superhero is that I don't care, because none of those things are insults. Oh my God, someone on our feed is trans. Oh my God. They put on the gitch they wanted to today. Don't you want that, Republicans, conservatives? Don't you want to put on the damn underwear that you want to get? If you want to go to Walmart and buy this underwear, no one should stop you, right? And that is why you leave the damn trans people alone. What, are we going to persecute left people now? Left hands now? And the left has no shame. The right has no shame. Who has no shame? The bullies have no shame. We are not going to fight each other. We are being distracted. We are being distracted over these infights. It becomes about whether you're a jock or a nerd. This is like an episode. Go watch Grease, for gosh sakes. Go watch the movie. Go be in the play. Go do something. Exactly. Good point, Dixon. Thank you. Thank you for posting it. You know why? Lol. I'm a minimum wage $30K a year, probably in a state or province where that don't mean shit, right? Because there's not many places you can survive well on that. You don't control shit. You're absolutely right, because you're on the same side as me. You know why? Because patriarchy isn't about your privilege and all the privilege. It isn't about the individuals. It is about a specific set of white, rich, cis, hetero men who took power and will only keep it in their families. This is about the privileged few. This is about the hockey guy who thinks that he's the most important. This is about the football guy who literally in high school was the mean guy. There are equal numbers of nice guys who were the hockey quarterback. What the hell? They were the hand egg. They were the American football, high school. How many of them were good guys? But some of them were bullies, those individuals. And what did many of them have? Many of them had that specific set of things. But that also means that there are a huge amount of white, cis, whatever, right? All of the different kinds of people, because that certain set of patriarchs wants all the money, and they want to take more than their fair share of the girls and the women and the stuff and the things and the apartments. They have to cut you down, Dixon, just as much, because that means there's extra males in the system. Go watch a video on YouTube about Amish young men. What do they do with the extra men? I have a background just, way back when of some of my family being of Mennonite background, which is similar to, Amish or the old peoples or whatever you want to call them, right? They weren't low, like, farmers without electricity, but same kind of thing. It's kind of like being Jewish, you can be everything from absolutely Orthodox Jewish to like, I think I'm a little Jewish, right? And thank you, because you are a spare male, just like in the Amish, just like in the cults for polygamy who control the world, just like the things that, right? You're the spare male. You have to be betaized, and you're not. The vast majority of good, white, cis males, it's time they stood up and said, this has nothing to do with me, and we're not going to fight the other intersectionalities. We're not going to fight all the people. You're on the same damn side. You're on the same damn side as a white, cis, whatever, still poor, middle class, lower middle class, poor where you live. You're still got food a little bit. You might have to fight for your food. You might have to fight for survival, but you are not living on $1 a day and your baby did not starve today. I hope, and I hope. Right? Because that is what Elon Musk, Ms Musk, has a girl name, seems to have very girly hairline. I'm pretty sure that I'm supposed to just guess, right? I think, I'm pretty sure that's a girl, and not in the good way, because I don't want to accept that person as a girl either, because girl's not an insult, is it? Because it's not a bad thing. Being a girl's not a bad thing. In fact, at the moment, it's time that we stood up and said things as the girls who were told to shut up, the girls who were pushed off a bus, the girls who were literally threatened with death because I look too much like an Indian where I grew up. In some places, my privilege is that I am a white, upper class. I can pretend I have gained privilege. I have the ability to appear to be cis, the ability to appear to be white, the ability. Are those things true about me? Or should we be looking at me on my merit? Racists don't even care. Jerks don't even care. Assholes don't care if they're right. And you're absolutely right. Now, this is a live, Draco. I go all over the place because we're trying to put a lot of things together. And I repeat my argument in chunks as I go. Absolutely, because we're trying to have a slightly more complicated. But thanks for the check-in that it's like, I'd like to go back and look at that thing. Very nicely requested. Absolutely. Dixon has an absolute point. And my comments are delayed. You might not see them for a little bit because I don't have a mod looking at them right now. So I want to make sure that I don't get any real big trolls here. I don't mind somebody being mildly insulting or opinionated, because sometimes it's good fodder. It actually helps me. I can go up and say, see, this is how people respond. This is what's always happened in my life. I was pushed off of a bus. Why? So that those people, those white men, could feel good about themselves because they were attempting it. Were they baited? Were they the rich ones? We're all fighting after the pie. And by definition, a whole bunch of us have to fail. A whole bunch of us have to fail for the 1% to take 99% of the money. It's, guess what, guys? A pyramid scheme. At the moment, Miss Trump and Ms Musk are playing the bully game. They are playing the high school upper crust. We got to go to boarding school. We are the jock who got to insult people, and people still gave us money and time. They don't come from the 1%. They come from the 0.000000000. They have had no good ideas. Tesla was stolen from the good inventors. Trump hasn't made a single good real thing. And all of this infighting that we're doing distracts us from the bullying. The bullies want to pit us against each other, and we're all on the same side. We all, as people who stop and have a conversation and talk to each other and do not group ourselves, then we are the people who are the other 99.999%. And when we get our rights back, when you get your constitution back, because you have 1 to 3 constitutional crises looming, they are happening. Go watch Legal Eagle, no connection at all. No likes for me, no likes for somebody else, says DEI slayer. Are you the one that slays DEI, or do you slay the people? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a troll or you're an anti-troll. It doesn't matter if you're a bully or not. We, as a people, all of us, are going to start talking about things on their merits. We are going to talk about the very small portion of high school bully quarterbacks, not the great quarterbacks, not the ones who brought together communities. We're going to talk about the very small number who will push aside first disabled people, first gender diverse people, because that's how we get the infighting. We're not the enemy. You're not the enemy. Nobody is the enemy. The enemy is only the people who are taking formula away from babies. That, for me, as I was previously worked in lactation, I'm the person who did the feeding of the baby. I'm the one who crossed all lines and all things, not legal. I just mean people couldn't peg me. I worked equally. I had Mormon clients and I had atheist anarchy clients. I had everybody. Why? Because we took everything on its merits. We actually looked at the stuff. She has no friends. I wonder who the she is. If it's me, you're right. Cool. As if you're talking about somebody else, are we talking about if you're responding to one of them having no friends? Absolutely. Again, it's an argument. It's just a thing that says, is it a good discussion? Are we talking about how somebody who was friendless in high school may have become a bully because they were bullied? That's a good discussion to have. But it's all about one thing for me. It is about the fact that they are setting up the American executive is setting up to kill babies. That's the goal. I mean, you can agree or disagree on any other thing, but that debate can't happen because, like, you need to take back, if you're American or involved in it, you need to take back your damn Constitution, because you don't get to have arguments about giving props to anybody. You don't get to say he's right about this and wrong about that, and I don't like this. And it is all the bully is about who they're trying to hurt when no one is looking. And the answer is that the executive US is setting up right now to distract everybody with all of this bullying back and forth, make sure it's their closest friends that go down instead of them so that they can look great. And they are, in a little tiny little bit of news, it went by that one of the first things they did was shut down the drugs at the border. And that went by. The drug war, the new drug war, there isn't one. The amount of drugs that came over the Canadian border to the US would fit under my desk. I could carry it in a couple. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, it's dangerous as all hell. I carry Narcan. I'm a first responder. I have helped that person die, and I've helped that person not die. So you don't say that I haven't looked at it. You don't say I don't know how to shoot a gun or kill a chicken. I grew up on a farm. I grew up with both of those things. I am actually trained as a biathlete. I trained in target shooting. I like me some guns. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. It is not the tool you are using. It is the tool who is using it. And your current executive are tools. They are worse than tools. They are genocidal maniacs. They are literally trying to kill infants, and they are succeeding. Because that drug war that went by in one little news cycle is because that is the only way the US government can get Bitcoin. Because they can't legally buy it. But now they want to put together a treasury that's like the Fort Knox for Bitcoin. Well, where are they going to get that Bitcoin? Where are they going to get cryptocurrencies? They're not legally allowed to buy it. Are they just going to ignore all the laws? Or is a little bit of a feint that they're going to take it from drug capture? That is where they're trying to get it. Why did that happen? That's the Sherlock. They're just like, it went by and we're all fighting about this other stuff. And the tariffs are bullying so that goes in the news. When you don't want to be seen as a bully, you know what you do? You start, when you're not the mean girl, you start bullying your best friend. And when they respond in shock and weirdness and go, what's going on? You go, see, it was just like, it's interpersonal. It's a fight we've been having and it's not really, I haven't been hurting other people. Like, I'm just having a hard time. And these people are being bullies. And we put that in the news rather than saying, who's the person that started it? Who started the circle of bullying? And the definition for me in this stream today is that the bully is the one that hurts babies, and we focus on that. Why, Draco, are transgender women entering female sports defined as a bully? Who are they doing harm to? Oh, the game? What? Let's assume that they do 100% of the harm they could do. Oh my God, they may have transitioned later. They might actually have male abilities. They might totally destroy a record. They might do there's some sort of sport will have to decide about it and do. And who else? What infants will it kill? What US infants will not get food today because of that? Or is it a side bit? Is it a thing? Oh, it's not a conspiracy when they're really out to get you. Because that isn't a fact. You can have your own opinion, but you can't have your own facts. This is a fact, but a fallacy, because it's not a conspiracy when babies are dying. Your babies. Your American Republican babies are having their formula taken away from them. And babies in all the other countries are having their formula taken away from them because the government won't pay for things that were all work already done. So imagine yourself, USAID, that whole thing, they're taking away the money from contracts that have already been completed. So oil and gas men, and Dixon, who wants to give props, and me, who's a conspiracy theorist. Absolutely, because that's not DARVO. It's not DARVO. It's not reverse. It's not reverse victimhood to fight these arguments. Instead of going, if you got your paycheck and you thought you were going to be paid because you already did those services in the oil and gas. And I've been part of oil and gas in Alberta. I've got family in Edmonton. I've been out there. I have worked with those companies. And those guys who leave some provinces are eastern provinces. That's who we bring in to do oil and gas across Canada. You know it, different states in the US that you have your people come from one place and go to the rich areas and they have to live away from their families and work the oil fields and things, right? If you did the work, you counted it up, you said, I was there with my gloves in all of that muck and cold and hot, and I did my work, and you got back, and then someone spent the next 2 months arguing that you shouldn't get your paycheck. And it went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and your paycheck did not arrive. Would you have enough money to feed the babies in your families? This is an argument that is for everybody, and it's not a conspiracy. The facts are right there. They wanted to set up conspiracy thinking. They wanted to set it up that facts are meaningless, that we're all arguing with each other. No, the facts go together. They're fairly simple. but you have to look at them from different places rather than arguing amongst ourselves. And troll away, troll me. There's nothing. Oh, go right ahead, because you know what? If you troll me, is that I'm distracting you right now from trolling somebody else. And I love that. You can yell at me as a fat, ugly old lady on the internet. And right now, you are not trolling a trans child, or you're not trolling some woman on the street and yelling at her. You have yourself a good day too. I'm not vague. I'm bringing connections together, but I absolutely understand. What you listen to on YouTube is about what you listen to. All I'm thinking is, go and listen to something else that's a little different today. Go listen to something that's not part of all the same things. Oh, and let's insult me. Let's do it. Come on. Go ahead. Say every bad thing about me, because you know what? It just soaks in. Any of you watched, it's a little while back now, but once upon a time, there was a TV show where they were all they were all like fairy tale characters, but they'd been turned into the real world. And the witch could reach in and take their hearts out, and they came out as glass or crystal, and she could crush it. Except I'm doing that for good. And the definition of good and evil is not that they don't look exactly the same. Good and evil look precisely the same. That is what evil needs to do to carry on its business, because it looked obvious. It'd be easy, right? If evil didn't hide amongst us, if it didn't look exactly like good people, then it'd be easy. We'd catch it and we could all point at it and go, that's the evil one. And we can't. We're so confused. We're like, well, you're the evil one. You're the conspiracy theorist. You're the ugly one. You're the whatever. Why? Because evil and good look exactly the same. And so I have decided that you can be evil all you want at me, because I'm distracting you from doing it from somebody else, because I will put all of that evil down on the floor. And I will carry on being kind to people. I will take care of the smallest and the most vulnerable in society. And that's the definition that I am working with for good right now. There's lots of definitions. There's lots of good things you can do. But kindness is defined as not always doing polite things, but doing kindness to the smallest and weakest and most vulnerable. And that means that you sometimes stand up and yell at bullies. Do you think we shouldn't have self-defense? Do you think I shouldn't punch somebody who's trying to uppity? Do you think I shouldn't fight back? Do you think I should just take every single insult that's thrown at me? Problem, reaction, solution. What is the problem? The problem right now are the American dictators that have put you into not one, but probably 3 constitutional crises. They are taking away your rights. They're taking away Republican and conservative rights just as much as they are taking away liberal bleeding heart snowflakes. It is not one or the other. It is about the babies. The problem is that American babies will die without food. The problem is that international babies will die without food. The problem is that the people at the top of the government, maybe not the whole government, that's where it gets messy, but those 2 patriarchs, those 2 rich sons of patriarchs who think that they get everything. They think that they are the bully quarterback instead of the nice quarterback. Those 2 men think they get everything. They get anything that they want to take. And they are going to take it immediately so that those people at the bottom cannot stand up and fight and argue. So what do? Who do you take away from the bottom? In a rally, in a protest, when you're taking down deers, when you go hunting in a pack, what do? You take down the weakest, right? Because then there'll just be less. There'll be less of them. Let's get rid of those that are disabled first, right? Let's get rid of those that other people hate first. Let's get rid of those that came here later than we did as immigrants. They're immigrants. How are they not immigrants? When did they decide they're not immigrants? When did the patriarchs who immigrated here? North America, the US country and the Canadian countries are only a couple hundred years old. Where do you think we got here? We're all immigrants. Unless you are Native American or Indigenous Canadian or Indigenous anywhere, and not everybody else is an immigrant. Those white boys, they're immigrants. Where'd they come from? Just because they got here a couple generations. Well, I got here a couple generations ago too. So I'm not an immigrant anymore either. Woohoo. Oh, prove it. Go right ahead and prove it. I'm just making stuff up. Prove it. Prove that I have different facts. Write them down. Write down all the facts that I have that are different. Write down the facts that they have taken away the contracts from USAID. Go and get me the proof. Sure, I'll wait. I'll sit here. I did a 12-hour feed on Black Friday. I did a 12-hour feed for the economic blackout. I'll be here if you want. I'll come back. You can contact me and say, they're taking food from babies. That's the topic. The topic is that American and international babies will die. That's my topic. They think they're taking candy from a baby, but they are taking formula from infants. They are taking support and food from infants. And there are other arguments and other things, but the thing I am focusing on, the difference between good and evil in this case, in my world, is, do you hurt babies? Do you care if babies live or die? And if you came here and said, well, I disagree with you about abortion, I disagree with you about infancy, I disagree with you about breastfeeding, okay, fine, just disagree about those things, ignore it. Where's your stand on whether or not babies who were given formula in December by the American government should still get formula? What is your stand on the fact that international babies of peoples who were friends of yours are having their formula taken away after they have already done the work? You're not giving them their paychecks. Those are stated facts. You can go look it up in the most conservative news. You can go look it up in the right-wing news. That they did, right? And they were proud of it. They were proud that they have taken the money away. They've taken the money away. They took away a paycheck. They took away it. It was already done. The work was already done. The people out there in both the US and other countries had done the work. We're not discussing whether or not we should pay for those things in the future. We're discussing whether or not you get your paycheck. And those monies are being taken away from US families who were getting money for formula for their babies. I spent 15 years as a lactation consultant. And I love feeding babies any which damn way. And everybody for those 15 years made it an argument that I have a problem, I'm the enemy, other people are the enemy, other formulas. No. The people who are taking formula away from babies are the enemy. And that is your executive today. That is what they're doing. Xenolots, then feel free to hang around and learn, or feel free to go back and listen to the rest, or great, ask a question and I can tell you what the topic is. The topic is that if you care about babies, you got to care about disabled people. If you care about disabled people, then you got to care about other genders. You have to care about the smallest and the most vulnerable. You don't have to agree with them. I don't give a shit if you agree. I care whether you care about them. If you state that you don't care about them, then our argument about good and evil is over. And if you care, but you are okay with things that hurt them, then you're a bully, because just because you don't do your own bullying, just because the mean girl points and laughs at somebody and her so-called friends do the bullying, doesn't mean you're not the mean one. That what's going on right now is all argumentation, and I am happily giving the gender that I believe that person represents as, because I believe that's how it's done, right? Don't you go, that's what you appear to be, right? That's how you decide. If you look like a girl, then we should call you by feminine pronouns. And I think Musk looks like a girl. The hair, the wimpiness, the talking, oh yeah, all terribly girly. The makeup, the clothes, oh yeah, just all girly. So why don't I get to decide what pronouns to call? I'm pretty sure that was the argumentation. That's my right. Isn't it my right to figure that out? They don't have that right. No, I don't know. Go listen to some of Musk's interviews where he states that he doesn't care if his children live or die. He would prefer that one of his children is dead to who they are. He would rather have a dead child than a female. Or someone who says they're a female. Who says they're anything. Who just says something today. The opinion or the insides or the feelings. Oh, even if you make it completely snowflakey. Oh, it's just how they feel today. He doesn't care. And he's using it as a way to not care about babies. He's using it as a way to not care about disabled people. It is all about the vulnerable population. What do those things have to do? Oh, I'm going all over the place. No, I'm not. I'm talking about vulnerable populations. And if you can't put those in together as a category and find the facts of, oh my God, vulnerable populations are the ones that could be hurt first, and that trans and Republican infants who don't have enough money for formula together are actually the same people. They're the people that, if we can get them to shut up, then Musk and Trump can take more money. That's their goal. And they want to make a giant Bitcoin repository, which they can only do if they have a drug war, because that's the only legal way for them to get the money. So they're bullies who first get the money, then they kill off the people, and then what do they have left? It's not a conspiracy when it's actually helping. Oh no, I'm horribly, extremely sexist. Oh, I am. Oh, okay. Good. Tell me how. Tell me how I am. Tell me how I am as a cis woman, as a mother of 4, as a traditional housewife at the time, not anymore, but who did the traditional. I was fucking ballerina farms. Thank you very much. Tell me. I'd love to know. Oh, I'd love to know how I'm the sexist one. I'd love to know how being called the C word at 8 years old on the street made me sexist. I'd love to know how being called worthless and only worthy of assaulting and leaving to die in a snowbank. Vulnerable populations, people. Are you a vulnerable population? The guy who came on and said that he worked in oil and gas in Texas, his baby, when and if he has one, or someone in his family, is a vulnerable population. Are they not? Are you living paycheck to paycheck? How many Republicans are living paycheck to paycheck? How many of the good old people who are just kind people? Oh, no such thing as cis. Oh, the word cis. Oh, it's such an offensive word. Oh my God. It literally just means same. Oh my God, Latin offends you. Then stop using Latin. the people who are being killed off, they're gonna take you next, right? They're just gonna figure out how the not so normal. And guess what? It goes all the way up the chain. If we fight about trans here, if we fight about disability, if we fight about food and international people, if we fight about all of these things, then when they get to the beta males, which they had to create because there's too many males in the system, right? You think, as a friend of the Mean Girls, you think you'll be safe, huh? Go watch every American movie about Mean Girls. Go watch all of those movies when the mean girl turns on her own friends. She will throw them under the bus happily because she didn't do any of the mean things. No, it's oh no, right? She didn't do any of the mean things. No, it's just a distraction. She will DARVO the shit out of that, saying I was the victim all alone. Cis is just a Latin word that means same. It just literally means same. It's like saying anti. You use the word anti, don't you? You use the word pro and anti, don't you? Latin words that mean positive and negative, or for and against. Oh my God, stop using them. They are such a weird term used to normalize, marginalize normal people. Oh my God, do not say anti and pro, because that's some weird, ugly Latin term, which is somehow just not making it normal. Cis is literally just the word that means you were born and then is the same. Like, it's literally just means same. Oh my God, the horror of a Latin word meaning same. It's just so scary. It's so scary. It marginalizes people who are normal people. Anybody want to unpack that? Are you normal? Because if we fight amongst ourselves, if you fight me about this here, then you won't spend the day looking up and noticing who the mean girl is. If you fight the mean girl's minions, the friends, the in-group of them, if you fight the hanger-ons to the mean girls, if you then fall for the jocks versus the nerds bullying and who's who, then you're distracted. You're distracted and kept just not realizing you're on the same side. I'm on the exact same side as a Republican today who does not get their paycheck to give formula for their babies. Oh my God, stop using anti and pro. Please. You cannot use, if we're not using cis and trans, we're not using anti and pro then. Same thing. Nope. Not using any Latin prefixes. Nope. Oh, yeah, because I only have an English degree. My English degree, my master's in language totally says that I can only get you fries and onion rings. It says I don't know anything about Latin words. I don't see anything about stuff. Oh yeah, let's take regular old words and use them as slurs. Let's do that through history. Let's be mean to people by making up things that we're afraid of. But if you say an insult, you've just told me what you're afraid of. So go ahead, please insult me. Oh, I want a big, long chat stream. I want all that lovely conversation where you tell me what you're afraid of. Every insult is a confession. Every accusation is a fear. Every time you insult me, you tell me what you're scared of, not what I'm afraid of. I'm not afraid of being fat or ugly or cis or what do you want to call me? I've been called, first time I was called a see you next Tuesday, I was 8. And it was an adult male. And it was a threat to my life because I lived in the murder capital of Canada and he had decided that I was of a certain race and therefore it would be fine if I died. That's what we're distracting ourselves from. And right now, babies today, Republican and Democratic, liberal and conservative, international and domestic, are not getting paychecks that pay for their formula. Are we taking candy from a baby, or are we taking formula from infants? And if you don't care about that, then I don't have to listen to your opinion anymore. Because you can have your own opinion, but you don't get your own facts. It is evil to be okay with babies who are expecting a paycheck, hard-earning American people, not get their paychecks. You don't have to adopt a single thing. You just have to not be an asshole. And if you don't want to adopt anti and pro as Latin terms, and you don't want to look at the science of biology that says there are way more sexes than that, if you don't want to go past grade 8 in a 1980s textbook, that's okay. That's your right. But you don't get to change the facts. You can have that opinion, and I will fight for you to have that opinion. I will stand up here and I will put that opinion right on the screen. And if you are scared of the word pro and anti because they are Latin terms, or if they hide what your fear is, the fear that people are different, the fear that that somehow affects your world, your religion, your life, your rights, then I'm here for your fear. As a counselor, as a person, a Canadian therapist, I'm going to say, I'm here for your fears. I will take care of your fears. You put all your fears in my chat. I will make sure that you're not chatting with someone else today. You can come here to this room and insult me all day, every day, because then you are not yelling, see you next Tuesday, to an 8-year-old girl who looks Native American on the street in the middle of winter in North Dakota. I grew up in North Dakota, across the border in Winnipeg, murder capital of Canada. And let's realize that good is about taking care of the smallest and most vulnerable. And today I define that as the babies who are not getting their formula. And I am a lactation consultant. I help people breastfeed or chest feed or human milk, pumped feed, whatever, just get milk, because that's normal. And formula is goddamn good food when you don't have it. You put that in the baby and they grow. Good. We'll have an argument about the differences between the two later, because right now, Republican American babies are not getting their formula. You know why? Because it's been taken away by the two people at the top. The rest of it is all the insults you want to send me. I will take them away from the rest of the internet. Great. I love them. Have at it. Oh, I will just hold on to them, and I will each time go, oh, so is that what you're afraid of? Because when an enemy insults me, they tell me their weakness. They tell me exactly what they're afraid of. And that means that they're not yelling at somebody on the internet today. They're not yelling at a little person who does not deserve it, a kid. They're not yelling at a gay guy in the street. They're not yelling at a trans woman this second, whatever. And they're being distracted because right now they have to find formula for their baby. There are so many families who are not getting that paycheck because that aid was cut off domestically as well as internationally. This whole thing, all of these are distractions from what's really going on. The bully always points somewhere else. The bully is pointing at all the other fights and fires they started. Because what they are doing is taking all of the money and resources for themselves while you're not looking, so that they are the 0.00001%. And they do not care if your baby, Republican or Democrat, lives or dies. They don't care if infants across the world are not getting their paycheck for formula. That is what US aid was. It is, imagine doing the hard work. God's servant, American Republican, you're welcome here if you're not an asshole. I don't care what you are, as long as you're not a jerk. You can be anything and believe anything, as long as you're not a jerk, because I don't have to put up with that. No one said I have to put up with jerks, right? If that's a different, oh, or maybe that's exactly what it is. We're supposed to be nice. Nope. I'm going to call it bullying. US aid is a paycheck for work already done. Imagine if you did your month of work. You worked your ass off in the oil fields. You came home greasy and gross every day. You hated it. It was hard, or you loved it, but it was hard work. And at the end of the month, when you expected your paycheck to be written, you found out that they decided not to pay it. And it went to the local courts and things and said, you need to pay this. And the people said, no, we don't want to pay this. We don't think it's right that we give this money, just like give it for these contracts, because these, we don't know if you really deserved it. You need to write down all the ways you did. We don't feel like it. No, you have to pay for services already rendered. USAID, it isn't about cutting off future services or taking people away from them. It is literally the paychecks. They're taking away the paychecks. And what are those paychecks for USAID for? They are for formula for babies, amongst other things, but I'm sticking with that one. Will I admit that the majority of people reject the trans ideology? Absolutely not. I will not just agree to an opinion. I'll agree to a fact. And we've had in Canada, we've had gay marriage for dozens and dozens of years. It's well past 10, it's moving on to 20 or something like that. Trans people are accepted basically everywhere. Yeah, there's shit in here from good old boys and people on the street, but it's absolutely normal. The majority of Canadians support explicitly and implicitly. You can go get the reports, you can go get the polls, you can go get the numbers, and you can go walk around a street and see what it's like. Do we think that of the American people? Well, we think it's pretty divided, absolutely. Thank you for saying no, just said what they believe and not what I believe, because they heard something different. You can believe anything and everything until I agree. Then I call you a bully. That's exactly what you just did. Look at that. Well done. Well done. Because I did the opposite. I said, stated, and did the opposite. I said, I will ask you and debate you on the points, and you are welcome and not a bully until you start insulting me. I did the opposite. That is exactly what you did. Well done. Thank you. Thank you for saying what you're afraid of. I appreciate it. It's really nice when people just come out and say what they're afraid of. I don't think you're a bad person. I think you've heard these things over and over and over. They're the things that keep you safe. I think they're the things that protect you amongst the people you're amongst. Oh, but I don't therapize on the internet. No. I just do the facts. And the facts are point to one thing where I didn't debate. Point to one time I didn't. And one time other people did. They say, I didn't call you a bully. Yeah, right. Oh, the technicality of it all. Oh, the technicality. Now we can get technical that I didn't say you. Yeah, but you put it in a stream saying you're a bully until, yeah, that's good. Again, another mean girl tactic. Do you wear pink on Wednesdays? The bullies in my stream. Do you wear pink on Thursdays? Are you mean girls, or are you the mean girls' friends who wear what you're told? Yeah. If science was a popularity contest, good thing it's not. It becomes one, but good thing it's not. Yeah. It's still a fight. And whether somebody's right or wrong about tariffs or USAID or whatever, those are all arguments that say, should the babies have received the money to pay for formula for work they've already done in their families. Should those babies get their formula today? If you work in Texas and WIC is being retracted, those babies aren't going to get their formula. And it's not that they're going to not get it in the future. There was no transition. It was taken away. USAID, it was taken away instantly. It's not about future things. It's that they've already done that work. Imagine if you had a paycheck and it was taken away and you did not have money to buy formula for your baby. That is what is occurring all across the US and all across the countries that have USAID. And if you consider those people lesser than your own people, if you consider the babies dying without formula today any different than your babies dying, and they're both, they don't have food today. The infants don't have food today. That's how I define good and evil. The rest is a distraction. You can fight over the things, but I'm glad you're distracted over here. I'm glad you're distracted. Of course, it's an emotional platitude. Absolutely. It's an argument to emotion. Did you know that it absolutely is? Because we're allowed to do that when we have facts. Yeah. When I have facts, I'm allowed to simplify it, and it's not a fallacy. Yeah, that's actually what my degrees are in. And I'm a professor. What do you do? I have a job. And no, I'm not a professor in an Ivy Tower. I'm a professor who works every day doing lectures. I'm a professor that doesn't have a pension. I'm a working class professor. I don't have tenure. I work in a system that doesn't even have tenure. I work in a college. And colleges are different in Canada. They're not the same as community colleges versus state colleges. Think of it as more like the state college versus the universities. We have a different system. I am allowed to use ethos, pathos, and logos. I'm allowed to do critical theory. Would you like the essay? It's posted. Would you like the whole argumentation? My blog? Go right ahead. The facts that this is occurring? USAID was taken away. WIC was taken away. Go look it up. Go look it up in a Republican paper. That was happening. Oh, so you think babies who can't feed their babies without the government, they need to get a job? So when you had your groin surgery, did you get some time off, or did you have to go back to work the next day? When you had surgery, did you have to go back to work the next day? Did you how long did you stay for your V? Did you do physical work the next day on the things? Did you get a little bit of time off? Who says they don't? Who says they don't have 3 jobs? Who says? Again, distraction. Distraction about the most vulnerable. And I am allowed to use the logos. Absolute logic that if you don't care about babies by some sort of distracting argument, then you're a bad person because you don't care if babies live or die today. Because, yeah, you can argue about the different systems, but do you think they shouldn't receive their food today that was already paid for? They already did the work. That's the point. They already fulfilled the contract. They already did it. And I'm so glad my trolls are here today. You know why? Because you're not out doing other crap. You're arguing with me. And I love that. That's good. You argue with me, I'm distracting you from somebody else and they can get on with it. I can stay here and work at home and be a rich bitch, but I can also be a fat, ugly old lady who is not worth it because I'm a see you next Tuesday squaw. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not important. I should die. I've been told that many times. Good. Well, good. I'm glad I scare you. I'm glad the fat, ugly old lady scares you, because now I know what you're afraid of. And that's a perfect argument. Thank you for just setting up the debate for me. It's not about voting anymore, is it, right now? I didn't say anything about voting. I didn't say anything that wasn't Democrats and Republicans are on the same side right now. If you want to feed your family, you're on the same side. And that is that the 0.00001%, the mean girls, are taking things away. The rest of the mess? The rest of the mess is a distraction from the fact that those two mean girls and apparently 5 of SCOTUS are taking away money that should already have been paid for work done. And you, if you're out there as a God-fearing Republican, gun-owning, guess what? Who says I'm not those things too? You don't know. On individual things, you have no clue what I think about anything. Stopping contractor payments that have already been rendered, that have already been done. Well, if you need more arguments on the contract law, then you should head over to Legal Eagle. I'm not a lawyer. I am a professor of critical theory and computer science. I'm a parent. I am a therapist in Canada. I'm an autism functional. Oh, I love it. Thank you for not hating on other people today. No, thanks for hating on me, or whatever it is. So you're not saying anything at all. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. You could go back over the last hour and a half and say that I made no points and no argumentation. Absolutely. Did you miss it? Were you asleep for the lecture? Pretty sure I brought out a whole bunch of facts. I'm pretty sure I referenced a whole bunch of them too. There's a blog and there's an essay. You can go look them up. Absolutely. You're not complaining without giving your solution. No, I said there's a solution. I said it at the beginning. I've said it over and over, that not getting distracted and looking at the mean girls. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about the fact that there are 2 mean girls and that they are doing things that are illegal, that they're ignoring the system and just doing whatever the hell they want? What are you going to do about it? It's not my job to actually propose that solution. It's my job to propose the question. That is what critical theory or interaction design, that's what I do. And it's okay to say, I'm not the person, as some Canadian fat, ugly old lady on the internet. It's not my job to come up with a solution. It's yours. It's yours, the American people, to come up with a solution for the fact that you have a dictator at the moment. You have 2 dictators. You have the guy who yells at the microphone and the one that carries out killing babies. We had a name for those in the Second World War. And if you think that this is any different today than the beginning of the war and how the little man in front of a camera spewing hate and confusion and the rich guy in the back, if you don't see that those 2 people are becoming the same kind of genocide, then I hope they don't come for you next. And I don't know the exact solution, but I do know the problem statement. And you, as American people, have to solve it. How will you get rid of the dictators? Or will you wait for it to be a war? Will you wait for it to be your Germany right now? And Germany is on the side of good. If you really want solutions, then All of us pointy-haired nobodies have been shouting them from the rooftops. Yeah, they just don't wanna spend their money. They want to keep the money for themselves. That's how it works. They don't wanna help anybody except themselves. The solution is to stop the 2 people at the top. You've gotta figure out how. I'm not an American Constitution lawyer. I'm not an American. It's not my job as some ditzy Canadian to solve the entire thing, but the problem statement is clear, and the acceptance criteria is clear. In design, it is your job to figure out the actual solution. I have a clearly stated problem statement and acceptance criteria. You have a dictator, and an SS at the head right now. The rest of it, you got to figure that out yourself. But they will cause a genocide first amongst other countries and then amongst your own. That's what they're doing. That is factual. That's not a conspiracy. That is just the boring old facts of the matter, that they're letting infants die without formula today. And I am talking to those people daily about the infants that they're trying to get formula for. They have jobs. They had jobs. What, you're not allowed to take a couple days off for having a baby? Some of those people go back to work at 2 weeks. Did you go back after your groin surgery? That's all a distraction. You don't have to want to give them away the money later. That's, again, another argument. USA don't want to give away money later. That's fine. Do you want to receive your paycheck this month for services already rendered? The courts, your courts, have already decided it's not legal and not okay for them to do that. SCOTUS, by a bare margin, said it's not okay. That's the news this morning. That is the news from your right-leaning Republican. I'm reporting your news to you. They won't pay for what they've already been given. The work has already been done. You can debate small bits of that, but you're not doing that. I'm not going to get caught in the small debates. They're all written out. All the facts, all of the references, they're all there. You're not debating on facts, so why should I? Oh, wait, because I'm on the side of good, and I actually don't want infants to die today. And I don't want your government to get Bitcoin by having pretend drug wars again, so that they can make themselves a Bitcoin thing. They're mean girls. Look up and see the mean girls. You can be Republican, you can be anything. You will at some point become the vulnerable person, though. You are going to lose your income. You are going to lose the American people are going to lose. And the hangers-on and the mean girls' friends are going to lose too. They do. Go watch every single movie about mean girls. The friends lose in the end too. And the hanger-ons or the other people who are friendly to them, they lose too. And the people who are losing first are infants. And if you think infants should die today without food, then you don't have a simple fact-based reality. Having your own opinions is knowledge. Having your own facts is delusion. If you're making up facts, just don't look at the fact that American infants are dying this week because food is not going to go out to them that was already promised. Yeah, change out all the stuff. And they Thank you for coming and being my troll. I really appreciate it. It's almost like a live feed. I get to respond. I don't even have to make up the arguments. They're right there for me, and I'm glad you're not spending some time harassing somebody else. We figured out the solution: cut spending and lower taxes. That would be great. Then why is Trump taxing you more? Tariffs are a tax. They're a tax. That's what they are. You know the way debt and deficit have two different words depending on how they're applied. Taxes and tariffs have two different words when they're applied. It's a tax you're going to pay. That's what it is. It's a tax you're going to pay. The American people pay that tax. So how is that lowering tax? And how is cutting spending from infants take care of you? Oh yeah, no, and this is a good one. This is where I won't stop the feed, but I'm almost done for the day. By the way, I enjoyed listening to you, and your passion is really extraordinary. Keep it up. You know what? You could disagree with me, Jordan. You come disagree. You could agree with me. You could 100. That's the point. This is when we actually do. You know that disagree, we agree to disagree. Usually that's bullshit. Today, if you go, yeah, I'm focused on one thing. I'm focused on mean girls and dictators. I'm focused on the harm that comes to infants. I want my babies to get food, and I want all the babies everywhere to get the food. And I don't want the people at the top to hoard it as personal income, not American, not government income. They're going to take that money away from you next. If you got a little bit more money recently, they're going to take it away from you next, just because they haven't gotten to you. The simps and the betas are all going to be taken advantage of next, and there'll be nobody left to speak up. And I could be wrong about everything I say. I'm not. Because I'm an immodest, interrupting, full of bullshit, fat, ugly old lady from Canada. Oh yeah. Throw on the insults, because all of them just say what you're afraid of, not what I actually am. But you know what? It's about whether or not you care if babies live or die today. And I'm really glad if you come and yell at me all the insults, because that gives the other people a little more time, a little more energy today. I hope that one kid out there, one woman out there, one intersectional frickin' somebody who's been betaed, or somebody who's in but not physically in but not mentally in as a simp, somebody who's waking up to this crap, goes, wait a minute, maybe they're bullying other people, maybe they'll just bully me next. Like every single Saturday morning or Saturday after school special, like every single Mean Girl movie you've ever made, this is high school, people. Your government is high school right now. Is that a way to run the world? Whether or not you agree with the things that are happening, the way they're doing it is bullying. And bullying, when you kill lots and lots of people, is called a genocide. That's the definition. Just a simple definition of a problem. How are you going to stop your two people at the top from killing American babies next? They've already started. The money that goes to people who have jobs, who had enough money and were taken down by injuries or surgery or childbirth. People who were in car accidents. Often they have 3 or 4 jobs. Their WIC is being taken away. USAID distracts us from the fact that they're doing it to you domestically. Is she taking candy from a baby or is she taking food from infants? And that is my definition of evil. Evil and good look the same. And right now, you have a Goebbels at the head of your government. It's the beginning. All of the academic, the fact-based, the economic lines up. Everybody on every side who understands what a fact is says that you have hit the 9th step out of 10 towards a domestic genocide. And you can argue, you can insult, you can yell, but you can't take away that fact. You can't go distract other stuffs. That's not an argument. If that's an argument, oh, that's ethos, is that pathos? And what's the likelihood? What's my stake in this? I sure hope you're right. I sure hope you're right. That they see through this crap. The crap that you spewed on my stream so that it distracted you from somewhere else. But maybe, just maybe, the fact that we got to yell together was a little bit of intersectionality. Maybe your arguments being listened to and brought up and shot down, and you insult me and I don't insult you. Maybe those are a good way for people to see that those arguments shouldn't be working anymore. That we need to look directly at the thing that they're waving their hands and distracting. If any of you are old like me, resources are in the blogs. It's already happened. No, they're not. I already have that documentation. Lots of organizations do. All your local WIC offices, the WIC offices have that information. Yeah. The most vulnerable. We've already lost babies, Western babies, because they didn't have formula. That's what I started with, was the proof of that. They're not safer than that. They're not stronger than that. There's holes already. That's what I'm warning you about. Let's look at what my stake in this is. What stake do I have in this? Why is a fat, ugly, old lady from Toronto, Canada? What's my stake? Yelling at you because I think I'm better as a Canadian? Or because I want to rant about stuff and be weird and left and woke and snowflakey on the internet? Because I want to, like, what? Am I monetized? Oh, hell no. I don't get a cent. Do I have a real job? Absolutely. Am I a crunchy mom? Absolutely. I was a crunchy, traditional mom. Do I own guns? Not in this house right now, but as a kid, I was a sharpshooter. Am I a Midwestern, pride-fearing, hard-working farm girl? Yeah, I am. Do I kill my own chickens? I did. When I lived on a farm, I live in an ugly urban area now. Some of the Midwestern people who would be on the opposite political spectrum from me are exactly the same. It's not about opposites. Why would I take it to a church as an atheist? Why? When I'm trying to warn you guys that it's going to get worse because you're not looking at the enemy that is right there at the top. You're not looking at the mean girls. Nah. You're right. I don't sound humble. You're right. I don't sound polite and kind like a woman should. I have an opinion and abilities and knowledge and understanding and experience, and those things are not things that I'm allowed to have. And you should, okay, I want you to remember this when the baby's around you. When your baby or your brother's baby or whatever, you don't get your money. When you fight that, when you fight the small facts, when you fight me about this, and don't go look up the research. Are you going to look up the research after this? It's all there. The references are there. Every argument means that you're not. I'm glad I'm reverse distracting you. I'm keeping you away from all the other shit so that you can argue these things, and there'll be a record out here when people come, when they wake up. There might be a little bit of a record that says you don't have to be on the other side, because there aren't sides to this. There aren't sides to good and evil. Where does good and evil come from then? It comes from the choice whether or not to kill babies. Yeah. It's almost like it's something that just a conscious being can do. I could be wrong. Give me different evidence. I'll change my mind. Will you? If the world gives you different evidence about God, will you change your mind? If the world gives me different information about atheism, will I change my mind? Absolutely. 100%. First thing, that's the goal. That is what science is. That is what knowledge is. That is what facts is. When, as your Mark Twain said so delightfully, when the facts change, I change my mind. Pray tell, sir, what do you do? The facts have changed. The facts have changed that the two people in charge of your country are genocidal maniacs. They have created at least one constitutional crisis and are headed for 2 or 3 more. So where does good and evil come from? Same place it's always come from. The golden rule. I believe Jesus said, be nice to each other. Morals are absolutely objective in non-believers or unsure worldview. Good distracting topic. My internal morals. Oh, the in opposite. Yeah, good and evil. Yeah, good and evil. Good and evil is like whether we hurt people or not. Really, you're going to argue against like, oh yeah, we have minds, and it's internal moral view that we shouldn't kill babies. I thought you'd have the same opinion, actually. Most conservatives, most Republicans, the people who are fighting for wanting this stuff, I'm pretty sure they didn't want to kill babies. I'm pretty sure they wanted life to be left alone from the beginning. And now you're arguing about the live babies being not, it's okay if we kill them. We got to make it make sense. Make it make sense that certain babies need to live at all costs, and certain babies, it's okay for them to die. That's not good internal morals. What good? Mine is all babies should live all the time. Xenalots. Thank you. My website link is dead. Thank you. Well, there could be 2 things. Moved providers to Canada, took all my data off. It may not. Yeah, it may be down. Thank you for letting me know. If it is down, I apologize, and I will get it back up. Otherwise, it is possible that you are in a state where you can't get it, because we actually have evidence that lots of, especially southern states, are having the internet cut off. There are pieces of it. There are things that you're not, servers and things like that, that you're not allowed to get to. Um, uh, you know, what are the states that there's a whole bunch of reporting on whether or not you could get, delightful video for your enjoyment, and it was all going dead. So, wonder. Yeah, because I moved providers yesterday. So, like, have you ever moved houses? Have you ever moved houses and, like, they have to start up the internet of the new house? Like, did you ever get, like, you know, Verizon or whoever, and you're like, you got to set it up? Oh my God, you're right. I should do that. Insult me. Oh my God. Oh my God. I didn't pay my light bill. Oh my God. It's almost like I moved. It's almost like I moved and did something for a second. Good insulting, just great insulting, because your insults tell me what your fear is. And what I fear is that you have two people who are taking away money from infants and children, and you would rather yell at me about being wrong about that, some random Canadian, um, rather than looking up and going, I might agree with all of these things, but they're not going to keep me as a Republican, God-fearing, gun-toting, life-supporting. They're not going to keep you safe either. The mean girls don't care who they hurt, and they are going to hurt. They're going to hurt everybody they don't like. They're going to hurt the God-fearing oil and gas man just as much as anybody else. They just haven't gotten to you yet. Are you going to let them? Are you going to let them get to you? Or are you going to say, if they're hurting other people around me, what stops them from getting to me next? Oh, thank you for spouting all of the rhetoric that everybody always spouts, so that we can have it right there and we can respond to it in all of the posts. Thanks for all of your insults, because they get them away from other people for a while, and it means that I can give people the responses to troll the trolls back and spend some time, and then I can also focus people. See all the people that came to my post, some random woman on the internet with a disability. Oh no, Xenalots. No. You haven't been trolling. You did. Absolutely. No. That's not your fault. That's the internet went down. I moved them. I literally moved providers. Haven't gotten the internet back up. Like when you move and your phone isn't connected yet. Ever have a half day when the thing isn't there? It's there. Thank you for looking. No, you're good. You're good. You did the thing. You're looking. Well done. Two things can be true at once. The insults about the insults, the good things you did. I'm taking individual comments where they are at, which is, if you have to insult people, to distract from the fact that two privileged men, two specific rich, white, cis, boarding school boys who have been living life on a silver platter, on a gold platter, on a fucking platinum platter, want all the money for themselves. I can actually see a world where the Republicans could be right about a whole bunch of stuff, but you don't have a Republican Party in power right now. What you have are two dictators, or a dictator and their lapdog. Don't get distracted from that. What are you going to do? If you're an American, what are you going to do? Oh, yeah. Get yourself a VPN. Senselot's going to go pay your light bill. Go work hard. Thanks for agreeing. Thanks for disagreeing. Thanks for looking at shit. Thanks for, dude, absolutely. That's the good part. That's the part where we actually debate. That's the part where we work on. That's where we make fun of each other in a good way. Absolutely. And thank you to those who were meaner or louder or bullier or whatever, who didn't insult me explicitly. All doesn't matter because you're distracted from the fact that the mean girls are taking over. You don't have a Republican Party right now. You have two people who have gone off completely. I would hope that you would get a Republican Party back if that's what you want as people. That's not what you have right now. You have babies dying without formula. And I have a stream from lactation WIC offices that I used to work with when I was trained in Ohio that aren't getting their money for their formula. And they have jobs. And they're Republicans too. And they're supposed to give up their babies because they had a job and they were being given some extra formula because someone had, say, a C-section or their husband got hurt or whatever. They're supposed to, with a job, with working hard, they're supposed to give up their baby tomorrow because they didn't have enough to buy formula when they were promised the money for formula. Okay. Well, if we're going to argue in circles about whether or not babies should get food today that were promised the money for food, go have an argument about what good and evil is. And thank you for saying every single thing that everyone says to defend, not looking at the mean girls and who they're hurting. Keep yourself distracted. Yell at other people. Fight amongst yourselves. That's what every dictatorship that wasn't wanted has done. You either take over by force or you take over by brainwashing. You take over by making people believe that they're going to get the good thing from other bad people. The bad people are right there in front of you. If you don't think I would give my last $10 and half, who has enough money to feed the babies? Good source. Michael Jackson. What if you had a job? What if you had lots of money? What if you could feed your baby? What if you were made to have that baby because you were a child who was assaulted and you can't have an abortion, right? So how will you feed your baby if you've been kicked out by your parents because your dad is what are those girls supposed to do? Michael Jackson. Yeah, he was a good parent. I don't know. Was he? Is that a source? What if you could a day ago? How close are you? How many paychecks do you have in the bank account before you can't pay your kids or your brother or sister can't? In your family, how many people are using their credit cards and had good jobs, had good things, and if you get laid off, you're a month or 2 away? It's most of the population in North America. It's really easy to go back and say, "Don't do something earlier," but how is it going to come to you? How is it going to come to you? How are the mean girls going to turn on you? Because they will. They already are. And if you don't see it, there won't be other people fighting for you if you spent the entire time fighting at the smaller, the weaker, and the more vulnerable. If you didn't look up and see the mean girls who were giving you pretty things until you became what they didn't want, until they were pointed out as being the problem, and so they fought you. They pushed you under the bus and said you were the bully, you were the one that did it to other people. You're being set up to fail. If things are so rich, then why is Lawrence on MSNBC saying that this will cause a recession? You haven't lost the money yet because it's a pyramid scheme. It's being taken away from the smallest and most vulnerable and handed up. What will they do when they turn you, though? Go look up every mean girl movie. What does the mean girl do to throw their quote unquote lieutenants under the bus? They get their so called friends to do the bullying so that their hands are clean. They just look pretty or look popular. They hand down the dirty work. But at a certain point, they turn on their own so called friends. And they are bullying the smallest and the weakest and the most vulnerable in lots of places. And I'm so glad we had someone who's going to spout every single piece of misinformation in the feed. And then we can all talk about how those are all things you were taught to say by undue influence, that you were made to feel popular until they wanted what you had too. Whatever you think of the governments as a whole, the presidents as a whole, the offices of Congress, etc. But I'm some random Canadian who's fighting for the American Constitution. I'm fighting for those rights, verbally saying you should fight for them too, because they are being destroyed, they are being dismantled, they are being pulled apart by two people. So take your Republican government back. Go look at the facts. Go look at the actual facts of who's doing the bullying. whose and what is falling apart. And I'm glad for all the insults and all the trolls that came here and left somebody else alone for a couple hours. Because there is no insult that hurts me. Because I know they're just your fears. Everything that you say is horrible is just the stuff you're scared of. Bullies are the most scared of all. Because they had to learn how to be bullies to protect themselves from somebody else. And I hope for you that you don't have the bad things that are happening to other people happen to you. If that's the only way you'll know they're bad things, it probably will. But I actually don't want it to. I want it to stop now. I want people to wake up and take back their government. Yes, even a Republican one. Sure, why not? Have a fucking great Republican. You don't have that. You have a constitutional crisis. Go make a solid, conservative as hell, God-fearing, get all those things you want. Go ahead. Is that the government you have in place right now? Nope. No asks. You haven't been insulted. Why do you keep saying that? Oh, you think you're the worst troll out there? You think you're just the ones the comments getting through. You don't think I'm on multiple feeds? I'm restreaming to a couple of platforms. I'm on Insta. I'm on other things. Yeah. I restream to a bunch of things. So you're not the only one there, right? If you don't think you've insulted me, well, we can go back and look and make sure. And thanks if you haven't. I have been insulted today, a whole bunch. Might not have been yours. It's going by fast. Like I said at the beginning of my stream, I don't have a mod today, so I got nobody who can count. So thank you. If you're being serious, sure. A tariff is a tax, and the taxes are paid by the people. You're paying them. The taxes are going up. Your food prices are going up. You are headed for a recession today. You will pay more. And I'm hoping you notice that there are researchers, academics, nerds, uncool people, old ladies from Canada, some old lady who has to work today but took some time out of her day to go, hey, you know what? If you believe those things sincerely and would like a world that is safe for you and your children, and you want a good old boys, you want a strong Republican government in power, then I say you go for it, because I'm not American, and you want to do that and work in politics and work for safety of people, you go right ahead. You do not have that. You have an out of control, ignoring the Constitution, ignoring the laws. You have a man at the head who is making up facts, making up things, bullying people who didn't deserve to be bullied to distract you from everything. You have a guy who says between one video and another, I didn't say that. If you show me a video of something I said, I will go back and check it and go, man, I did. Okay, let's go figure it out. No, you have somebody who is dangerous. You have somebody who is acting like a dictator. If that is what you want, cool, I guess. But that says that you're okay with bad things happening, because you're okay with decisions that just randomly happen, have no controls on them, They don't have any. That's what you're voting for. You're actually voting right now. If you're okay with the two people at the head of your government, you're okay with them making any decision they want. What if they make a decision you don't agree with? What if all of a sudden they're fine with one of those things you don't want as a good Republican man? Well, they can. Well, they'll listen to SCOTUS. No, they won't. They're on the verge of not doing so. Go look up your own news. Why am I invested in this? Why do I care? What money, time, information? And if you really want to know, if you really want to figure out what's going on, go ahead to Legal Eagle for his legal coverage. Go ahead to Lawrence on MSNBC. If you want to give me a link, I use Ground News, not a sponsor, not in anything. I just actually use it. I got mine from somebody else. I listen to all the news, right wing, left wing, middle, anything weird, crazy, conspiracy. I get crunchy stuff. I do all over the place. And I go, I'm advocating for straight and serious Republican traditional families just as much as I'm advocating for other people. I'm advocating for facts. I'm advocating for we as a people can know stuff and we can actually decide things based on those facts. We can come to hypotheses and decide something, and that just saying something is true because we are parroting it from our family or our church or our whatever is not necessarily a strong thing to do. And because I believe there's no evidence for God, but that if there was evidence, I would believe instantaneously. Absolutely, I would change my mind. That somehow is not the fallacy that it's just a preference. Whereas listening to a book that you decide that's not a preference. No, the objectivity, I have the only objectivity, which is that I listen as a whole to humans and lots of different sources of evidence that say what good and bad is. And I'm pretty sure that not killing infants because we take away their food is kind of an okay definition for good and evil. I didn't make that up today. That's kind of been throughout human history. You don't want abortions, then you're on the same side as me. You agree. You agree we shouldn't hurt the babies. Okay. Then don't hurt the babies. Why are you okay with them hurting the babies then? I'm confused. Make it make sense for me. Because I didn't pick that. That comes from that's yours. I picked yours. Okay, fine. Then I'll just go with yours. You want that to be good. Okay. I agree. Seems you don't. Seems you have a circle. And I might be wrong about you. I'm calling you out as an individual as well. You got a good point about that, actually. Thank you for being one person saying one thing, right? And there's lots of streams. I'm listening to a bunch of streams here. There's lots of people who are arguing slightly different things. If there's no such thing as objective truth and good and bad, then I guess you're doomed. I guess you, as Republicans who say that you want healthy things and infants not to be murdered, I guess that's just an opinion of mine. Okay. No, yours is an opinion because you made up a layer, whereas mine is just what people think. It's actually the same one. It's another argument that's offside of whether or not we should hurt babies. You want to debate good and evil? Why? Because you don't want to say that hurting babies and taking away their food is good or evil? That we can't just decide that as kids? Kids, like just go back, and my 10-year-old knows that. My 5-year-olds knew how to just well, we just don't hurt people. We don't take away their food. We just don't take away their food. Like, it's just, is that not some sort of outside thing? Does that not seem to come from humans? Is it not the same as what Jesus said? To be kind to each other. This is above all things. I think Jesus had a really good point, whether or not I believe in that specific thing. But I would. Someone gives me evidence. If I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong. I will happily be wrong. When the facts change, I change my mind. Pray tell, what do you do? When the facts change, I change. I'll keep doing that. And right now, let's not distract ourselves from the fact that babies aren't getting fed. Oh, well, maybe one of them didn't die this week versus. Yeah, actually they did. But even if they didn't, even if they're not, what? They're going to die in 3 days? That's better or worse? The Republican, conservative, job having, but the father was killed and the mother had a C-section. She has a job too. She has 2 of them. She should give up her child. If you're okay to play around and not give babies the food they were promised yesterday, not arguing about what to do in a week or a month, I'm only saying that we have to do what is right. That you, the Americans, and we as Canadians who support it, and other countries who support it, and other people who support taking care of people. Oh, you're just so close to waking up, aren't you? So close. Not you, sorry. Yeah, exactly. And pretending that there's a very specific other thing doesn't give you an external source, it gives you an imaginary source. And I'm not even talking about God or not. I'm talking about your specific brand of literal Christianity, not yours, but that one that's out there a lot, right? I don't know you personally. The universe doesn't care, which is why there is such a thing as good and bad, because we know what it is. Because we as little kids know what it is, and it's trained out of us. I am on your side. It doesn't care, which is why we have to do what Jesus said. Be kind to each other. Why are you fighting over the golden rule? I'm agreeing with you. The source doesn't matter. And to me, it's not about the argumentation. It's not about this specific person. It's about the fact that they've heard people like this person have heard their whole lives this stuff in their head. And these are the same arguments that are just brought out every time rather than looking at where the agreement is that mean girls shouldn't be in power. And that is not a factual statement that atheists have only preferences. Christians only have preferences. Jewish people only have preferences. Those things, if we don't know which one's actually correct, then they're all preferences. You don't know if you're correct either. I know I might not be correct. I probably am wrong. Happy to be wrong. Are you happy to be wrong? What if it's Shiva? What if you're wrong and it's Shiva and the thing they hate most is Christians? Why is saying that my preference matters matter? I came to say that as a Canadian who has no stock in what's going to happen, I want you to have a strong Republican government if that's what you want. But you don't have that. You have a mean girl and their mean lapdog who are taking the money as billionaires for themselves, money they haven't earned. They're not hardworking people. They're boarding school brat boys. And I don't need a metaphysical basis for whether things are good or bad. It is bad when babies die. I'm arguing the same thing. I'm arguing the same thing, that it is bad when babies die. And today I had to listen to the news and hear and listen to my feed, listen to the individual Ohio people who are not getting formula today. And if that's antic data, so be it. But I care that those Ohio babies who are equally of both parties in the US aren't getting food today. And where my decision that that is good or evil comes from is the same decision. We came to the same decision that babies shouldn't be hurt and that we should be kind to each other. And that is what I'm doing. And bullies are not kind to people. And it is not mean to call 911 on a robber. It is not mean to get in the way of someone abusing their wife. It is kind to the person who is in harm's way. That is the difference between niceness and kindness. Okay, put your facts for why I need metaphysical basis for good and evil. Why? Why do I need to make up another layer that isn't right here objectively on earth as us? Why? Okay, write it down. I want your sources. And I will get mine back up. I apologize if you're behind a VPN, or if you are, it might actually be down though, because I changed providers. Ohio. Why are we laughing every time I say Ohio? I got to do a couple feeds here, actually. Ugh, I'm switching over to my, I don't cross, the comments don't cross, so you're not seeing my Insta and other things. What, are you near Ohio? I'm from, when I was a kid, I grew up in Winnipeg. North Dakota, as we call it. And I traveled through every single American state with my dad in a trailer, in a pop-up trailer. He was a teacher and we drove around forever. And we went to every single one. And I loved switching accents between them. I was the kid. I wasn't trying to make fun of people. I really was just switching accents. And I used to go around and talk to people, not like that, but just like I would fall into it. And everyone always thinks I'm from where I say, because I just start to talk like the people nearby. And it's just a thing. No, it's not. Not a fact. It can be, but so can lots of religions. My atheism is not at all. Nope. Mine is tied completely to moral existence, to moral connection to agreeing with the good parts of religion, with agreeing with people who want to take care of people. Golden rule. I've studied the Gospels and I agree with a good portion of them. Most of them. I've read a whole bunch of other stuff and I agree with them. Being nice to people. It's just the same thing being said. It's a distraction. Notice for people who have woken up or people who were given the chance to be awake. Oh yeah, us evil woke people. That's what it means. It just means woke up to the things going on. We woke up to the mean girls. We woke up to the people being jerks. We noticed that they were bullying our friends or us, and we tried to alert the friends of the mean girls that they were next. And all the detailed argumentation besides or debates or points or things that are just the same thing we hear over and over and over again. They're always the same phrases. It's just like multi-level marketing or pyramid schemes or whatever. We just hear the same phrases. You can just write down a phrase book and say, here's what they're going to say next. I should do that. That's a good idea. Let's make a phrase book, shall we? Who wants to help? You are being gaslit. You're next. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying that they're taking food away from international babies and domestic babies, and that news is being distracted by all the other stuff. The tariffs are taxes. They're sales taxes. And they are making American goods more expensive. We're just trying to alert you to the damage that's being done to you. And you're defending the mean girls. And I go, I hope you see it. I hope you see that they're bullying us and we don't deserve it. And you're probably next. Why would I do that? Why would I care if you think I'm not just trying to be kind? If you think I've got evil rationale for it, please let me know. Because I will change what I'm doing if it's hurting somebody. And to me, that's also an okay definition of good versus evil. If someone says you are hurting people and you say, I don't care, I'm happy with them being hurt. Is that a pretty good definition? Be kind to one another. This law is above all. I agree with you. I want to protect just as many traditional Republican, God-fearing babies. I want them all. And I want the people who think that they are the mean girls' friends, or the people who are on the outer circle just trying to stay cool and say everything they said. Your family says the same thing. Your world says the same thing. I want to protect you too. Why? Just some random dip crap on the internet. Like, who am I? I want to protect the babies. I want the babies to be okay. That's my only stated reason for being here. I mean, I love the debates, but the people hurting your country right now, if you want a strong Republican government that will not let us bleeding hearts liberals hurt your country, then you need to stand up and realize that you do not have a strong Republican government right now. If you want one, go look up. Go look up at the damage being done. Look up at giving money to billionaires, taking taxes from poor people, making sure that the disabled, the babies, the intersectional people all die. Is that it? You will be hurt soon. And no, the bully can't just turn around and say you're hurt. Nope, we need some facts and spend an hour and a half on them. your MSNBC, legal, all of the constitutional crisis that is going down with SCOTUS right now, today. They are going to, there is no such thing as needing to go to the Supreme Court to stop these things. Because it's supposed to be stoppable and they didn't listen. That to me, not stopping when someone says, when literal courts of law say that you're hurting people and you go, nah, just going to keep doing it, going to ignore it. You're sitting there right today and you should be listening. Is Miss President and Miss Trump, Ms Musk, I'd call them girls, but that's insulting to girls. They're sitting there today. Are they going to listen to the Supreme Court? Do you think they should? Do you believe in a world where we shouldn't listen to your president shouldn't listen to your Supreme Court? I don't have skin in this game. You're fighting each other. I'm just scared of what's going to be left and how many other people are going to get hurt when you all start infighting yourself, when you're all standing in the smoke pit hitting each other. I just hope I'm not trying to convince the people who aren't convincible. I'm trying to highlight the information for those who might listen, might wake up, might think about it, might see that it's not all that one side or the other, and that goodness can come from and kindness can come from all people, all sides. When we look for the actual people who are hurting infants, who are taking away formula and food from international and domestic babies. And they are not letting paychecks for work already done go out to the smallest people who I believe we're on the same side about. We want those babies all to live. I want those babies to live and be taken care of and have their families. And they are not today on my feeds as someone who is trained in lactation from the world best leaders in infant feeding. I was trained by the old lady who wrote the books, by the good doctor who literally did hours and hours and hours and hours. I've worked helping moms and babies for 15 years, 30,000 hours, took care of everybody regardless. You're right. That's just a preference of mine. It's just an opinion I hold that that's a good thing. And it's an opinion I hold that it is a bad thing for governments to simply steal that money in a single day, take away your paycheck, take away your supportive money. You can change how much you give later. When they come for social work, are you going to take care of granny? Social, not social work, social whatever. When they come for your old lady fees, are you taking care of your crazy lady aunt who's in a home? You paying for that? Do you have enough? Do you have it stored up? Do you have enough money to take care of yourself when you're disabled, when you break a leg? Because you should get a fucking job while you've got that broken leg, right? Because that's the position that many of these people from WIC, I'm talking about yours. I was trained in the States for this. I've driven around all of it, but I'm a random Canadian. Why do I care? Why am I arguing with people on the internet? One, I'm distracting you guys so you don't yell at other people. You can come yell at me. Yeah. You can come yell at the mom and she'll listen and go, "I'm so sorry you're sad." They're there. They're there. You sound scared. You sound scared to me. You don't sound mean. You sound scared. Some people sound mean. Their comments aren't going out. I'm letting the comments through that aren't really, or, I'm trying to. We usually have a mod on this. I hope that the people who disagree with me either had a good disagree, had a good argument, tried to hold up their things, or maybe someone around them, or maybe them. Maybe you'll wake up later and go, "Ah, shit, she was wrong about a whole bunch of stuff, but that bit, yeah, maybe a little bit." Or maybe we did kind of agree about something. I mean, at least I could argue. At least I wasn't like, just shut down like my stepfather used to call me an idiot. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, just to have a safe place, a little safer. Yeah, we can have the debates. We can't be mean people. Just an opinion of mine, but it's my stream. My opinion is that you have to be kind. You don't have to be completely nice. I like a good sarcastic or unsarcastic insult that I can put on things, but if you can't agree that babies deserve to be fed and they should get the food, absolutely an appeal to motion. You bet your ass. That's pathos in action. And I have the ethos and the logos. I will put them all up, and thank you to the person. I think they've gone out to pay their light bill, but I actually do have all the references and all the things that I've done. Yeah, I've got the academic bullshit. Also got all of the recent news stuff, ground news. You're gonna take care of them. And what happens when you can't take care of them because there's too many downloaded? What happens? Is someone gonna yell, "Get a job" at you when you go for a vasectomy and it goes wrong and you have a huge infection and you're laid up in the hospital for 6 weeks? Happened to someone I know. What's it gonna feel like when they say, "Get a job"? Why are you on money? What if you have a massive car accident and have your stomach taken out and you need liquid nutrition and you can't pay for the fact that that liquid nutrition costs 4 times the cost of food? Should I yell, "Get a job" at you? Or should someone help you out? Because it's, in my opinion, the right thing to do. Helping the most vulnerable in society is a good thing to do. My fucking opinion. Only an opinion. I don't have any basis for thinking that we should keep babies from dying. But you have the whole same opinion. Lots of people. I agree. We agree. Let's keep them safe today. Let's look up and see the mean girls who are taking away the food. Go look. Not saying they're right or wrong. Saying go look. The news today is that Trump is starting a recession. The news today, and it's not coming from left, it's coming from everywhere, that they're going to ignore the Supreme Court. The news is that if those are the things that you agree with, then we agree. You have to figure out the solution. I'm asking you to see the problem. The mean girls will turn on you. They already are. They'll pick off the weakest, and then they'll turn on the outliers, the hanger-ons, and then they'll turn on their friends and say they did it. They're currently acting out every boarding school or high school drama. Go watch a movie. Compare it to the actions of what your executive is doing. If you want a strong, God-fearing, traditional Republican government in power, then you should go look if you have that. I don't. But I'm going to fight for your right to have that. Some random, fat, ugly, old Canadian is fighting for your right as a different person in a different country to have the government that gives you those things if you want them and if your majority wants them. But that's not what you have. You have a mean girl who's making up the rules as she goes along. She and her so-called lieutenant, who has billions of dollars and yet has said that they would prefer their own child to be dead. Not Left News. Go look it up. I have the source for that interview. Ms Musk would rather that her own child be dead. That's the quote. What do you want? What solution do you want? And when you agree with the crazy or left-wing snowflake assholes who say, let's keep the baby safe, and you say, crazy right-wing, want the traditional, want the things, I want a powerful government in place for that. When you agree, are you going to stand up together and be the solution? Are you going to stand up and say, we agree that we should have the Constitution? Lawrence on MSNBC is mostly what I'm quoting today. I got that up. That there is a recession coming, that they are no longer listening to courts' rulings, that an appeal on the rulings were sent. This is just the highlight. I could go into all the other ones, and they're ignoring it. The executive government is ignoring the court's rulings. So even though that ruling is supposed to be unappealable, you're supposed to listen to these courts, it went to the Supreme Court. That's not normal. It's not normal, but the Supreme Court took it. Okay. That's already different. That's already not the thing they're supposed to do. Do you believe in your Supreme Court? Do you want your Supreme Court to rule? They ruled that these things, these contracts, the US aid, the WIC, they should be paid. Oh, that's just the one place I quoted. Someone says, oh, I got my news from MSNBC. Yeah, I got my news from a whole bunch of places. I use Ground News, not sponsored. I wish. And I get my news from all over the place. I read right-wing crazy. I read left-wing crazy. I leave the middle. I literally read all over the place. I look at every single piece. I will happily, you send me a newsletter from your, county, and I'll read it. I'm going to look at every single thing. I have no fear of any piece of news. Send it along. Have you? Have you read the right and the left and the middle and the international news? Have you read the Japanese news about this? Have you read the German news about this? I've read the German news about this. What are they saying? They're saying that you're now the villain. They had such a bad reputation. They became an ally. And now you're fighting your allies. You're literally fighting your friends. Why are you fighting your friends? Why? Why have we all turned on our friends all of a sudden? The Supreme Court, whatever you think of it, individually as people, do you believe in the Supreme Court? Your Supreme Court? Do you believe that it should exist? Do you believe that it should get to rule? Do you believe that what they say should be done? Let's go back to that. If we're having just opinions here, is that a fact? If the Supreme Court says something, do you think that is, do you think your executive, your president should have to listen? If you don't think that, what is the Supreme Court for? I thought that's what it was for. I thought that you had 3 branches. I had to learn this crap about the US. I'm some Canadian chick. I'm old, ugly, fat lady who has a completely different system. We have a constitutional monarchy. Don't get me started about that. I don't even get to complain about my monarchy because the US government issues are so dominating. I don't even get to complain about my own bullshit. I don't even get to complain about whether or not I'm middle or right in Canada, but I'm left in the US or whatever. I'm neither. That's the point. I'm all those things. I'm here to confuse you and go, you know what? I agree. I agree. It's my opinion. If you want to say it's good or evil, fine. If you want to say that the Supreme Court shouldn't be listened to, and say it. Say it outright. Say it loud. Say it proud. But if you are on that step where you agree that babies should not have their food taken away without notice, and if you believe that the Supreme Court should be listened to as a branch of the judicial branch of the government, should be listened to by the executive branch of the government. Like I said, I learned more about American politics and your stuff than, like, how much do you know about Canadian? What do you know about the systems? Huh? I'm here. I'm quoting it. I'm some Canadian lady. Why do I know it? Because it's so all encompassing, so big, so at the moment dangerous. Why are you starting a war with your friends? And do you think that the mean girls won't go to war with you next? Do you think those 2 men at the top? Do you think Mr. President and his lapdog, as billionaires who have always had all the money, all the things, they don't have to make good decisions. I'm not talking about the government as a whole. I'm talking about those 2 people. Are those 2 people going to keep you safe? No, they're not. The evidence is that they're not. They don't care who they hurt, and they don't care if they hurt good people. They don't care if they hurt their own conservative Republican. They won't care at the time. Everything has flaws. Government has flaws. My opinions have flaws. My facts probably have flaws. But the facts that are simple and true, if you do not want your branches of government to have to talk to each other, have to listen to each other, and not just decide like a mean girl that the other 2 branches are just, oh, they're just the hanger-ons. They're not really my friends. I'm the leader, the mean girl. If that's what you want, then say it loud and proud. But if you want babies not to be hurt, if you want them to be fed, then you got to look at whether or not the 2 people at the top of your executive are hurting babies, hurting families, going to make you pay more taxes, going to take away your dollars, going to cause a recession. "99% of people in Canada think the monarchy is bullshit." So, do you respect that we just got stuck with it like you got stuck with your idiots? Is it an argument for why you shouldn't look at your mean girls? No. Is it an argument that our prime minister could be an asshole or it could be the greatest man ever? It doesn't matter because you have mean girls that you're ignoring who are starting a genocide. He could be the shittiest prime minister that ever existed. You have two genocidal maniacs. The house is burning. Your house is burning. Your house is burning down right now. You are being put into constitutional crisis by whether or not your executive branch is going to listen to your judicial branch based on whether or not they're allowed to take food away from babies. And when you kill a lot of babies, you yourself, the God-fearing hater of abortions, has said that that's genocide. So killing of babies is genocide. That's my opinion. If you're okay with that, say it loud and proud so we know who you are. Say it loud and proud so that we know that you're one of the hanger-ons to the mean girls. And we will take care as kind people of the most vulnerable, the smallest, the youngest, and the most vulnerable first. And when it gets to you being hurt by these things too, I will see if I have enough energy or not. And I'm going to start first. I'm going to start first by taking care of the youngest and the smallest. And I'm going to call out the bullies as somebody who was bullied by adult men at the age of 8. The abuse started on the street. And I thought by the age of 10 that that means they're afraid of it because they don't even care if they're right or wrong. They don't even care if they've got my race or my gender or whatever. And if I've distracted you on my thread because you can be a mean person or a troll here and I can respond, or you can have a bad thing, then we will know when the people stand up and go, we do or do not want this, we'll know which side of the Civil War you're on. And the good people are the ones who are protecting all of the babies and vulnerable, not just theirs. And if that's an opinion about what good or evil is, then so be it. So be it my horrible, horrible opinion that we should take care of all babies, not just ours. I will stand by that then. Cheers to my shitty opinion. And every accusation is a confession. What's my opinion on the Canadian government? Oh no, my opinion on the Canadian government is very flawed. That's what I just said. Yeah, it's shitty. It's just not as bad. And it's just a distraction right now that we're talking about that versus the mean girl, right? Like having a debate about whether or not, science class teacher is being mean to us and we don't like the test just has nothing to do with the fact that there's a guy outside who's literally stealing and hurting people. And, it's just not the fire right now. Oh, I agree. Let's take it on. I'm glad there are people who are less tired, who have more time and energy, who go do that. Oh yeah, it's a pile of shit. Right now, at this moment, though, it's not being led by a mean girl. It's not being led by a rampaging mean girl who wasn't cool when they are young, so they start to just like a boarding school brat take everything for themselves. Start by hurting women, Start by hurting babies, start by hurting poor people, and go after your friends next. Throw them under the bus later. Just asking what you're going to do so that we know. So that we know when it comes time to protect all the babies, what you plan on doing. Just so we know. Because if you came here and yelled at me and thought I was the enemy, then great. Then I've distracted you. And you can yell here for a while, and I will pat you on the head and say, I've heard it all before, and I'll be here to take care of the smallest and the youngest. Speaking of which, I think in this stream, got a pop back from Instagram here. One of the smallest, well, a younger, has come. We got some young people in the chat. And you know what we do when there's young people in the chat hanging out who are coming for my stream? This was the political one, but sometimes they come and visit me. And I go, shush, 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 shush. You don't have your time. Right now, we're going to listen to the kids. We're going to take care of them. You want to take care of babies? You want to take care of kids, right? Right. I do, Jeskins. I remember you. That's what I put you up on the board. I had to flip back from it. I'm streaming to about 5 places without a mod, which is not a good idea because that means the comments don't go out. I can only, like, when there's a mod, you can get the other comments from other places, but right now you can only see the comments from places. So if you think a comment's about you, it might not be. It might be one that's been removed or something, right? And it might be from another stream. But I know. Like I shout out kids' channels. I come troll their trolls, come hang out with them, and I go, I'm going to protect them. That's what I spend my time doing most of the time. I like to do a good politics, but I also like to take care of younger people. And that is what I do all the time. I do it whether or not people are looking. I do it when there's one person here. And if that's my definition of good, is being kind to people. This law above all others. This law above all others. Be kind to people, right? I actually love the beautiful English writing of the Gospels. I think they're beautifully written to say, let's be kind to each other. I think there's lots out there, but that's just the one I came from. That's just the one I know about. And as soon as somebody or something or some above proves me wrong or tells me what it is, I will believe them. But right now I'm going to do the golden rule and take care of people and be kind to them. That's everything else is a distraction this morning from the constitutional crisis. Whether or not you think the executive branch of the American government should listen to the judicial branch. Is that for somebody else? Because I've said disagree with me. I've said I only call bullies or people individually. I think bullies are hurting too. I think you want to keep babies alive. So if that might be at somebody else. But when I say be kind, I mean be kind. Yeah, there's nothing in there. And I say you don't have to agree with me to be kind. That's no. You just have to be. You have to take care of the youngest person first, and then the vulnerable overall, right? Not just yourselves. That's the metaphor I'm working under. That we take care of all the peoples. It's your right not to believe that. But it's my right to think that's only your opinion. And if I've distracted you so that one of our younger people here can have a better day, if I bring the trolls to me so they can insult me, if I bring the people who are arguing, who want to argue, and who are trying to have a good argument to me, then good. Because then they're not yelling at the more vulnerable right now. And if you want to be here with me, yelling at me, good. And if you want to make it known that you are okay with people being hurt, then we'll know. Good. Call it right out so that we know. So that we know that you're okay with people being hurt implicitly, that you're on the side of the mean girls so that we can protect you last. I personally believe that I am obligated to take care of other people who are being hurt by someone. Yeah, I actually do. I think that I, as an older, fatter, uglier woman, should stand in when a kid's being bullied. Yeah. I think I should stand up and make it stop. Yeah. I should try to, when there's a bully schoolyard, I think people should stand up and go, no, we shouldn't hurt people. I do. Yep. I don't believe in every person for themselves. I believe we can't take care of everybody all at once, but that's why I focus on the most vulnerable. I go, we got to take care of the good people. And you can argue in my stream about any factual debate. But when you tell me that you're okay with people being hurt, then I know your stripe. If you're so worried about my stripe, about how my opinions are and what my truth is and these things not being factual, take a moment and look at yours. I'm just here saying, do you think that you should take care of babies, Republican or otherwise, in the US? Do you think they should get their food? Do you think that the executive branch should be able to not give the paychecks that have already been earned by WIC parents who are getting money because they've lost jobs or they have a job and they're injured or they've been killed, have dead spouses? That is what I'm hearing this morning. I'm hearing that good Republican Ohio people that I know their WIC officer. I'm in that group of people, lactation consult, people who take care of social services and things like that. And their food is being taken away. All this is a distraction from the fact that the mean girls are literally, and all of the debate is a distraction, that a debate to get around that you're okay with not being nice to people and that you're okay with hurting people. That's bullying. And if you can't have a definition of a word anymore, then why bother with words at all, right? Words have no meaning. Okay, sure. You going to defend that? How's your day, Justkins? I think I'm going to finish up my stream pretty soon. I got to get go. Oh, it's almost lunch. I got to get go into my job. Yeah, because I have one, right? And maybe I wasn't talking at you guys. Maybe I wasn't debating you guys. Maybe I was taking care of time and energy for other people to go and knit for the revolution, for Republicans who are going, wait a minute, this isn't a strong Republican government. I would like a strong Republican government. And for Democrats who are going, I'd be fine with a strong Republican government. And I wish we could have politics again, because this isn't politics. This is Mean Girls. And luckily, most of the young kids know that mean girls are mean girls. They're the ones that are waking up. They're the ones that are going to really know what's going on in the future. I'm just protecting them so that they can make decisions, because I'm one of the old ugly ones who can fight the old ugly ones. I can debate and not be hurt. And that means I'm standing in between you hurting somebody else for a second. And I think that's a good thing. I do. I think it's a good thing when someone is being hurt to stand up. And I know, because I remember them, that that's real for some of the kids that come to my stream, because I do politics, but I also do kids. I do disability. I do the things that are involved that come from being a parent and a teacher, professor and a counselor who has been bullied, who helps people with bullying. And so my channel comes from what happens when we use words wrong, when we ignore people, when we change the meaning of words, when we debate things. And that's how it goes together with Little MissDiagnosed. That we can hurt people with our words, that we can hurt people with the actions that we take, that we can make a mess and be distracted by what mean girls tell us, because they tend to point over there and say, what about that thing happening over there? And that the way mean girls, whether they are the executive branch of your government or whether they are kids in the schoolyard, they learned at the same place. They will always do the same thing. The arc is always the same. They will bully the weakest and smallest because those people can't speak up. Then they bully the others, the people that disagree, the people that are different than you, the people that you might find uncomfortable, the ones who, and they make, and then they bully the hanger-ons, or they make the hanger-ons around the circle do the bullying. And then if someone points at the bully and says, you're the bully, you're the mean girl, they say, they use DARVO, DARVO, the reverse victimization, to say, see, you're the one yelling now. You're the one that doesn't have control. You're the one that's making up stuff. Has that happened here today? Yeah, it has, actually. DARVO's right there. Go look it up. It's right in the stream. I should just, I'll do an essay on the comments, and then we're just going to run that through a processor and then do some rhetorical analysis on it. We'll write an essay on this and go, which ones were DARVO? Which ones were BITE model? BITE, Stephen Henson, and DARVO. I'll have to get the source and put it up. Apparently my website's down. Oh my God, because that is obviously just completely unacceptable. You can yell in the comments, but my thing's been down for 3 minutes. Problem, because I don't have mods this morning. That just negates every argument or every debate or every piece of fact I've ever had, because sometimes when you move houses, you change your internet provider. And sometimes when you move websites, you change your internet provider. No. Oh no. I'm here because kids are getting hurt. Babies are getting hurt. And we're all being distracted from how awful it is to have a mean girl bullying you. That hurts everybody. And I don't know why, presumably adult men, I believe them to be, they sound like males on the internet. I don't know, of course. Oh, wait, am I supposed to assume your gender? I can't remember. Am I supposed to just guess? Am I supposed to just assume? Am I supposed to listen to what you say, or am I supposed to say what you look like? Or do you have to give me I want your ID then. Actually, yeah, right? You're supposed to give me your ID from birth? That I don't know. What am I supposed to do for you? How am I supposed to believe that I call you he? But they sound like adult men, and they're willing to be bullies. Some of them, not all of them, but they're willing to have this debate and not go, we have two people who are taking over the free world, and it's not free anymore. It's not a strong Republican government. It's not a strong anything. It's not a world power. It's not any of those things. You're just about to lose them. And if what you want is revolution, then say so loudly. But don't hide behind bullying infants and children. Don't bully kids who are whatever reason themselves today. Don't bully. Go pick on somebody your own size, which is why I'm here, because I'm fatter and uglier than all of you. I'm old, I'm fat, and I'm ugly, right, Jeskins? Remember? And those things aren't insults because they're not bad. But they tell me that you're afraid of those things. They do. Oh my gosh. It's 11:30 Eastern time, and I got to get off stream, go to school, because I teach. Yeah. Oh no, I got to get to my job. I got to keep the lights on. Oh no. Oh, the lights are going to go off. Let me turn off my ring light so that you know that I don't have enough money for the lights. Oh no. Oh my gosh. And I love this. I don't know what this comment is for, but I love it. I'm just going to go with it. Let me grab my chapstick. Can I just put that on a t-shirt or something? I don't know what it means, DCAS, but I love it. It just makes me feel like, just give me a minute. I love it. I don't know what side you're on. I don't care, because I think it's just a brilliant word. Let me go grab my chapstick. That's a good reference. I like it. It's good. Let's do that. And I'm going to spend a few minutes checking on the youngest and the most vulnerable. Anybody? I got a shout out here. I love my kids here. Go hang out with the littlest. If you are not a jerk and you are another one of my kids or younger people who likes, I think, do you want, if you've got a stream or a channel or a cute thing, let me know. I shout out the goodness and the things and the happiness in the world. And if you get a mean person from my feed, then you ask me to come there, and Professor Maria will come and troll your trolls, okay? Because we're going to be good. We're going to be nice. Because we know what that is. We know what good is. We do. Right? Just Kins and I, teenager, knows it better than you guys do. The old men want to fight it, but I'm ugly enough and fat enough and old enough that they can yell at me. And it just gives me more power. Did you know that? That's what I'm doing. I'm like one of those ugly villains that's just like slurping in the power of other people's insults to become a supervillain of asking people to be nice to people on the internet. Oh yeah. No, that's hot. Yeah. Not hurting people with your words today or your bodies. Taking 1 second to listen and go, maybe what people are saying is repeating the same thing over and over again. And maybe I should go look at a difference. Maybe I should listen. Maybe I should educate myself. Maybe I should go find some stuff out. Maybe I've got some right stuff and maybe I've got some wrong stuff. Maybe I disagree. Maybe I agree. Maybe that making people other and putting them in groups has never helped. Didn't make high school better. And if you weren't ever bullied, I'm glad you had the privilege. But they'll find something to bully you about next. Go watch your own American Hollywood movies about Mean Girls. The plot of every single one is being played out in the executive branch. And it is not about these arguments and things. It is about getting the two mean girls to stop. If you want a democratically run 3 branches of government America, then you agree with wanting a strong Republican government right now, then you agree with a soft, liberal, snowflake Canadian, then you agree with the people internationally who want to stop bullying so that you are not the next random attack that your government, the other 2 branches of the American government, are allowed to say, stop, please. We don't agree. And if you want anarchy, if you want the Supreme Court not to have power, Congress not to have power, and the Constitution not to have power, then say so. Don't hide it. Because then you're an anarchist like me. And we agree. Oh, look. Go find a different fact today. Go read the other side. Go read Ground News. Get a subscription from Legal Eagle or from wherever. Go look up all the things. Look at something that you don't agree with today. Whether that's me and you completely and utterly, completely disagree with me, or whether you completely agree with me. Doesn't matter. I hope a whole bunch of people disagree with me. Cool. Because that means they came and looked at something they disagreed with. But looking at something you disagreed with and becoming a bully are not the same thing. You can be kind. You can be nice. You've been asking us to be nice for so long. I'm asking you to be nice. And you know what? To all of the lovely trolls, down to debaters, down to just, I've got the whole spectrum of all your representations and presentations of nut jobs to good debaters, to people who disagree with me and fought hard, good job, you know what I mean? All of those people who disagreed, and all of your presentations today. I'm going to say, I'm going to let you be you today. What are you going to do? When the facts change, I change my mind. Pray tell, what do you do? And when someone stands up who has no skin in the game, really, and says, think your executive, the 2 people who are executive and pseudo-executive, are mean girls with lots of money who are hurting people, and you refuse to look because you debate other things. Well, they'll come for you when they're done with me and with your children and with other international children, because that's what bullies do. And if you're okay with bullying, then let me know, because then I know who to protect first. The most vulnerable, the smallest, the weakest, the kindest. And if you think goodness is relative, then I also know who I should relatively take care of. There's no objective reason to be good to people. These aren't arguments I've heard over and over and over for 30 years since I studied the Gospels in religious studies, before I studied cognitive science and psychiatry, before I studied computer science and interaction design. If I'm just head in the clouds academic, then so be it. But I'm not going to let it be unspoken that the mean girls are hurting people, and just because they're not hurting you doesn't mean you're not next. And if you don't want to see it and you want there to be an incivil revolution, then say so. Don't hide. Do it. Stand up and be a man then. Stand up and be a man and do those actions. If I'm a weak, stupid, ugly, fat, go ahead. I'll be here taking care of the youngest and the most vulnerable. And I'll be here on my streams taking care of kids who are hurt by this, individuals that I don't know from all over the world who have 10 minutes or 20 minutes to listen to a mom. I'm not your mom, but I'm a mom. I'll listen. I'll listen and say, it hurt. My politics, my opinions, my facts stem from that. They stem from a lifetime of taking care of others and a lifetime of hearing the exact same phrases come out, the same argumentation, 30 years of it. And as somebody who has nothing more than an English degree, do you want fries with that? My discursive rhetorical degree in critical thought and cognitive science with a background in artificial intelligence just means nothing. I'm deflecting and projecting. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not. I have everything I say is absolutely just about me. Go look at my track record. If you think that, then I can't change your mind. Because you're not looking for facts. You're looking to argue without facts. And if you don't believe my facts, or you think I have none, or everything I have is an opinion, then fine. Because then I can't argue with you either. And therefore, what I'm doing is stopping you from bugging somebody else on the street. I hope you're not yelling or you're coming out and saying that you're okay hurting people. And I've distracted some mean kids and showed them up. I don't think I'm going to change their mind. I think I'm going to make them visible. And you can all decide. I'm just some teacher from Canada. The 99% of the Canadian population is amassed at the American border there. You know, and we're totally just really nice. Wait, no, we're really mean now. Which is it? Oh my gosh. I don't know. And it doesn't change the fact that I have to be the person who listens to, and I choose to be, a WIC official, the Women and Child Program in Ohio, who came to me because she didn't have anyone to grieve with about the baby that was cut off. And that is just an anecdote. It is only one story of a infant in Ohio who did not have food, and the mother watered down the formula because of these cuts, because of the things that are directly related to the cuts from US aid and the cuts that are not being talked about from WIC that are related. The funding of the paychecks were cut off directly. And I chose to be the person that listened. And if that makes me a bad person and Just my opinion. So be it. Because the people who see it that way will always see it that way. Some of them will wake up. I'm not talking to the jerks, right? They'll never change. I'm talking to those who are just about to wake up. I'm talking to those that are young and kind. I'm talking to those that know better. And I am simply a fat, ugly old wall that you can yell at until they're ready. Because Abigail's here too. I believe they're one of my shout outs as well. And they have, we were talking, I believe Abigail's one of my, I don't ask for ages or names because I don't want you to be on the internet with stuff. You know, you shouldn't put anything specific. Just first name and who you are. But you've been here before, and I believe we shouted you out or something. You were cute, wonderful. I just call you teens because I don't know how old you are. You just kids or teens, right? Just like students. I don't know how old you are. And Abigail has a beautiful picture there. And we were talking about how Abigail, I'm an unbeliever. I was Christian and I don't believe anymore. I don't think there's evidence for it, but I think the stories are really good. And I think the things, the people I was with were really kind. And I think there's great beauty and light in the story and the words, whether I believe them as just like a story or whether you believe them as absolute or whatever. But the idea that a guy said, let's be nice to each other. Let's be kind and take care of the weakest and most vulnerable first. Let's take care of the disabled. Let's heal the sick and feed the hungry. And the government at the time nailed him to a tree, right? Left him to die on a hill, on a cross. I don't believe that in the same way as a lot of people do, but I believe in that story being one place the golden rule comes from, right? That it is Lent for many, many believers right now, and that it is a time of waiting and mourning. And I'm on the same side then. Take care of the youngest and the smallest first, right? And if you are a mean adult male and your words tell me that you're going to hurt young people, then now I know. Go have your revolution, but don't do it this way. Don't do it by putting mean girls and bullies who will come for you next. Do it properly. Have a freaking revolution then. You want to crack a few eggs? Go for it. But don't do it through being mean girls. Good gosh. You're embarrassing yourself. If you're such a revolutionary, then if you think that if you're such a, strong white male who supports ideals, why are you doing it through mean girl tactics of your executive branch going, nah? You're embarrassing yourself. My bullies, Abigail and Just Kins, my bullies are embarrassing themselves, aren't they? They're like, oh my God, we're fully adult white males and we gotta go. I'm like, why are you taking the time insulting some woman from Canada? Or debating. There's been a lot of good debate, actually. There has been some really good debate. I'm really impressed. And noon is coming up fast for me, which is when I got to go do and teach and stuff like that. Oh, I got to get a real job, keep my lights on. Yep. I only have several jobs. And one of them's taking care of kids. So if you two or any of my other, I just call them teens, young people, my youngs, if you want a shout out, you want a thing there, I gotta head out soon. I'm gonna cut this into pieces and make it into my TikToks, make it into my stuff, and follow me around. But I will be back, and for my youngins that I like to chat with and talk about some good things and being good to each other, then I will be back with, I'll put the safer stream up. That's the one where it's like, that's more for you kind of thing. Glad for joining you a little bit. If you found me, yep, I remember all of you. I remember most people. I have this weird memory that remembers almost anything. You want to come and chat with me about something? We will put up a safer stream tag and make sure that you have a space to talk. And otherwise, look for the politics. If you're an old enough teen to listen to that, watch your ears, watch your little kid, you got siblings in the room, watch your toddler's ears. If you've got kids and stuff like that, I'll mark which ones for what, because I refuse to do just one thing. I refuse to just talk about one thing ad infinitum. It's almost like intelligent people can talk about more than one thing, right? It's like they can almost, people who are interesting can almost have, yes. Should I, in my non-live videos, connect the dots a little easier so you can see the nice essay? But this is a live. Like, who said I had to be perfect? Why is that a thing? Oh, right. Is that just something you yell at people so that they feel bad and they're like, you're not doing it right. You're not doing a live right. Okay. Then you go do one. Yeah. Why are you giving notes to me? Why is that? Good. Yeah. Sure. If I'm doing it wrong, go do your own. Go watch another one. It's all good. Leave a bad comment so that I can comment on it. You leave something nasty, you're gone. That's how it works. I get to decide. I guess my feet is a dictatorship shoe. Yep. I'm horrible because I'm being nice to people, being kind to people. Oh, good and evil look the same, don't they, kids? My youngins know that good and evil look the same and that people look good until they change something and you realize, right? That's not the topic of like every Disney movie, every Christian movie, all the things, right? Don't they say that like they look good until the last minute and then they're like they're not actually trying to be nice to you? Oh, but we don't know what kindness is. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We do. And if you really are someone who's led by the words of Jesus, who said, above all, this is my first law, that you should be kind to one another. And if you do not know what the word kind means, whether you believe that or not, and thanks to all of my tried to pick up chicks on the internet trolls, that means you're not picking up somebody else inappropriately. Maybe you can either learn to be better at picking up chicks, or we can point and laugh, or I can take the compliment. I do a little bit of all those things. Thanks for thinking the hot is an old, fat, ugly lady on the internet from Canada. Good. Because either I should get some time to represent as someone who's hot, or you can, who cares, right? Or at least you're not wasting your time yelling at kids on the street. I don't know. I don't know you personally. It could be either. Maybe it's done out of good. Maybe it's not. I, like myself, I don't find those things to be insulting. All the insults, you can't hurt me. Oh no. Why? Because I'm not afraid of them. Every time you insult somebody, you tell that person your fears. And for my youngers who are here, when someone yells an insult at you, when someone says something mean, when somebody snarks, if they're being a mean girl to you or some version of that, turn it around in your head and go, oh, that's what they're afraid of. And your executive branch is afraid of being pointed out. For the pickup artists, I have about 5 feeds going. So I always take everything as if it's an insult first and then sarcastic next and then neat or whatever. Then just awkward and gross. Cause But at the same time, if you come here and think I'm hot for a second, then like either you're honest and you're just being nice, or whether like if you're the kind of guy who would yell that on the street like a jerk, because that's not the same thing. Yelling things on the street is not a good way, it's not nice. It's not kind. But if it's just here, I'm distracting you, well, either you're kind and I'm just, cool, great. Or if you're a twit, right? Like not talking to you individually. I don't know who you are. There's 8 billion people on the internet. And I am, as one of my favorite vloggers likes to say, I am just a lady with a camera and a microphone and too many opinions. What I am is a fat, ugly, old witch on the internet. And I'm going to head out. My name is Maria, and I am Little MissDiagnosed. Because sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can hurt people forever. Think about yours. Think about what a fact is. Think about what you're listening to as news or not. And have the day you deserve. I'll see ya tomorrow, the next day on a safer stream. Trolls and weirdos and pickup artists, I'll see you tomorrow.